Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon buffs. What's going on? Welcome to TLP Sports Club. You are watching TLP Live. I am your host, Harry Billion. Welcome, guys, to the show. It's been an eventful week, an eventful couple of days for Colorado Buffaloes football. We're going to talk about it all tonight. We got breaking news that we need to share with you. We do have breaking news. Breaking news is happening. Well, it just happened not too long ago. So, Bump Texas, yo, East Texas is tapping in. What up? Feel so real. Hope you have a good trip. Tennis Channel Willie, what's up? Welcome to everybody. Smash that like button as you come into the show. If you are watching post live, please make sure to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. You are appreciated. You are what makes this show happen. But welcome to the show, guys. So I want to go ahead and just get the breaking news out of the way. We do have breaking news. You see it on the thumbnail. You see the breaking news on the thumbnail. And so yeah, let's go ahead and share that at the top of the show. And then we'll come back and give you all the other things that happens or the introductory stuff. But let's go ahead and get that out the way. Bada boom, bada bang. Let's get it. Let's go. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me go ahead and set my screen up. And we'll be ready to go. Yeah, man, it's a lot happening with the Buffs, man. The transfer portal, for those of you who don't know, the transfer portal is either open or it's about to open real soon. So, I mean, we already know, and we told you guys that we're gonna have a few. We're gonna have a few guys jump into that transfer portal, and that's pretty much what's happening now. So, this is not anything. You know what I'm saying? This is not anything surprising to us. The transfer portal is going to be open in a few days, or is already open. I think January 16th, if I'm not mistaken. That's tomorrow, I think. I think I read something where the transfer portal was already open. I'm not sure, but I know that we're going to get a few guys who are going to be entering that transfer portal. And at this time, it's kind of like it ain't no news, okay? Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Like I told you guys, don't be surprised when you see your favorite player in the transfer portal, because I mean, at this point, that's just what's going to happen to a lot of teams. It's not just going to be Colorado football. There's going to be a few teams that lose key players. Me and my guy Phil So Real, we've talked about it on a couple of shows now, that if it was not Joe Klatt, it was one of the announcers or the reporters that said that that the transfer portal this time around is going to be jumping. And now, whether you want to attribute that to NIL, I don't know if you just want to solely attribute that to the NIL situation. It could be the NIL. I don't know that kids are going to be that disgruntled with their current situation that they're just going to be jumping for no reason. It doesn't make sense. But a lot of the, I would say the main reasons for the transfer portal to be jumping is going to be NIL. So we're going to discuss that tonight. On your screen, guys, is going to be, you got the email, jointlplive@gmail.com. That's on your screen. So jointlplive@gmail.com is the email that you're going to call in so that we can discuss this. And if you're coming in, you're just coming in, I apologize for being late. We start at 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and I apologize for being late. But we're going to discuss that tonight. There's a lot that's going to be going on, and we got to discuss that. All right, so let me go ahead and set this screen up and give you this screen so that we can go ahead and talk about this right now. And then we will get into the nitty-gritty, the discussions on the show. So welcome to Monday Night Football, TLP Live. All right, give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, so on your screen, guys, you will see breaking news. The breaking news is Colorado DB Jaden Milner-Jones plans to enter the transfer portal. He tells On3 Sports the 5'3", the 5'3", that's On3, not 5'3". The 5'11", 195-pound DB played in all 12 games as a true freshman in 2023. He recorded 25 tackles and 3 PBUs. Will have 3 years of eligibility remaining. All right, so that's Jaden Milner-Jones. He is jumping into the transfer portal, so he's not going to be a buff. Now, could be several reasoning around this transfer. Now our DB room is pretty stacked. I would say if there's one thing that Colorado doesn't really lack is DBs. We don't really lack DBs. Now, do I want Jaden to be jumping into the transfer portal? Absolutely not. But we're stacked at DB. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. I want to hear from you in the comments, like in the chat, how you guys feel about Jaden leaving. Now, if that's somebody's favorite player, I don't know. So Scoot Brooklyn said competition was too much. Now the press conferences are happening now. I guess the position coaches are coming out and they're giving statements. They're making statements. So you're hearing the position coaches name drop. Now I do want to talk about that a little bit because I think somebody mentioned it either in the comments or on Twitter or somewhere. Where do you think it's a smart move to start telling people or telling us out here when spring game hasn't even happened? Is it a smart move to start telling us who's going to start? Right? Is this smart? I don't know if I'm asking to see who's smart. We can make our predictions. The position coaches, if it's a psychological game that they're playing, that's great. But is this smart for the position coaches to be telling us at this moment who's going to start and who needs work? The transfer portal is a real thing. All right? And we are not immune to the transfer portal. I've been telling you guys this on this channel that we are not immune to the transfer portal. So it's going to happen to us just as well. So I want to hear from you. What do you think about the position coaches? I don't care whether it's the DB coach, is the wide receivers coach, any position coach telling the press who's going to start at this time, because it could backfire, right? As we think about it, it could definitely backfire where a player might feel like, or might feel some kind of way like, bruh, if you're telling me that this person is starting, then what does that say about me? And I'm still fighting to get a starting position. Something might pop up in their heads like, oh, yo, you're trying to play favoritism with these players, or you have your favorite players, and we're still competing, and you're telling me, hey, Preston Hodge is starting, or Preston Hodge is doing good, or DJ McKinney's doing good. We know Travis Hunter is a beast. So if you get upset for somebody mentioning Travis Hunter, then show up. Just show up. You got your superstars, you got your stars, and then you got your role players. All right, you got superstars. I'm gonna say that again. You got superstars, just in case any of these young men are listening and watching. Your families and your uncles, your aunts, your moms, your dads. If anybody's watching, you have your superstars, right? This has nothing to do with emotions or feelings. You have your superstars, you have your stars, and then you have your role players. I think everybody on this team needs to understand where they fit in. At this point in time, in spring practices, with the spring game being, today's the 15th, the spring game is on the 27th. At this point in time in preseason, if you don't understand where your situation with the team and where you stand, whether you're a starter, you're a player, You're a superstar. You're a star. You're just a role player. If you don't understand where you are with the team at this point, you're going to be in that transfer portal. Let's just keep it real. Okay, if you don't know where you're at, you're shaky at this point because your position coach will be bullish on you, will be saying stuff. They'll be putting you before the microphones. That's how it works. That's how this whole thing works. If at this point you're just not too sure, there's a strong chance that you're not that guy. Is it wrong to say? Is it bad to say? I don't know. Are you soft? You don't like reality? What is it for you as a player? What is it that you don't like? Because I think everything is up for grabs when it comes to this team. Well, let me take that back. To be fair, we like to deal with reality here around here, okay? Not everything is up for grabs. Travis Hunter is not up for grabs. Shedeur Sanders is not up for grabs. I think besides those two positions, those two players, everything else should be up for grabs. Now, it would be interesting to get somebody who's a family member, who is not a disgruntled family member, who deals in reality, who understands how life works, period, right? To come on the show, to come on here, or to even communicate with us in the chat to say, to just kind of clarify some things. Hey, how are everything with you guys? You guys are good? Like, is everything okay? From what we know and what we hear, does your family member, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, whoever it is that's on the Colorado Buffaloes team, are they okay? Is what we hear what's transpiring on the team? Is everybody being given a fair shot? And if so, what is it that's keeping you from being put in the forefront? Is it your skill set? Are you not as good as the other guys? This is Division I college football that we're dealing with. We deal in reality, guys. This is Division I college football. Just look on the internet. If you follow anything college football, you should see how kids are responding to getting their phone calls from a Division I college football program. So this ain't no baby stuff. We're not playing no baby stuff here. This is not no, let me coddle these young men and we're gonna rock them to sleep. It's not that. To a certain degree, you should understand the level at which we're dealing when we're talking about Colorado football. We're talking about big boy stuff. This is not no little boy stuff. This is not JUCO. You know what I'm saying? This is big boy stuff. So with big boy stuff comes big boy decisions and big boy situations that you got to deal with when it comes to this stuff. So when people talk, you got to take it like a big boy. Where are you? If you are a player, where are you in your thinking about your position and where you're at? I think a lot of families gotta have that conversation. I didn't want to take the show there today, like here, but I think not just the players, but some of the fans also need to understand this dynamic. Y'all gotta wear your big boy pants around here. This is Division I. First of all, it's not just Division I; it's the top echelon of Division I. You got two levels of Division I: FCS, Football Championship Subdivision. That was the Jackson State Division I. Then you got the FBS, which is Football Bowl Subdivision. That's the second part. That's the number one, where all the big boys are. This is where they make all the big decisions to go to the NFL. This is where they're going to recruit from. And then after that, there's levels to this also. There's levels to the conferences. You got SEC, you got Big Ten, or I guess if you're talking about tenure or longevity, you got Big Ten, then you got SEC, then the rest of them, everything else follows. That's how the conferences kind of fall. But the SEC currently, all right, before my Michigan people or anybody else want to, come and drag me in an argument, Big Ten is probably, Big Ten probably, I don't know how, I know Pac-12 is a big conference, or used to be. It's about to be defunct. But so yeah, I mean, you got SEC, Big Ten, and then everybody else. That's just how it goes. So at the end of the day, it's big boy stuff, and you got to be able to have a big boy conversation when you're talking FBS college football, and you're talking Division I college football, not just Division I, but the top echelon of Division I college football. So where are you guys in your thinking? I really want to know. Like, what tonight's show? I want to have on tonight's on Monday Night Football. I want to talk about who do you think is leaving. You might see your favorite player in that transfer portal. Believe you or me, believe it or not. I would say I was not expecting Milliner Jones to enter that transfer portal. I wasn't. But when you got the transfers that came in, and then you got their position coaches going in and saying, "Hey, this person might get it. That person might get it." Yeah, it's gonna make some people jump. You're gonna call home. You're gonna call mom, or you're gonna call dad, and you're gonna have that hard conversation with them. This is what I'm seeing. These are the things that are transpiring. And mom and dad they're either Coach Brown fans, really big Coach Brown fans. All right, son. So what do you think we should do? What is it that you think we should do? Or what would you like to do? What do you think is the fair thing for you, for your career as a football player? You're decent, but let's have this conversation. The transfer portal is not a game. Let's make this very clear. The transfer portal, when you decide to jump into that transfer portal, you're declaring your free agency. You're telling the school that you and your teammates that you no longer want to be their teammates. You no longer want to be there, and you are deciding to move on and take your services somewhere else. You're actively breaking this relationship. That's if it was your decision. That's the other nuance about this. That's if it was your decision. If you weren't forced out, circumstantial forces would force you out. Whether you're not getting the type of attention that you desire to get, so you make that decision. Whether you got a situation where DBs are getting reps and the coaches are getting tunnel vision in practice, where they kind of understand already that you're not a starter and they're forgetting to give you some reps. And you just standing there like, well, the writing is on the wall for yourself. So you got to make those decisions. You got to decide what it is for you. There are going to be different decisions that you got to make. You're either going to be getting forced out, or you can kind of tell for yourself that this is not going to work out for you for this season. And then you got to make the decision to jump. But when you do jump, please understand the realities of jumping. Jumping is indicating you no longer like this relationship. Jumping is indicating that you no longer want to be at CU. Jumping is indicating that there's a lot of indications with jumping, but it's not sexy. I really hope that these young people understand that sometimes it may not be the best decision to make. And if any aunts, uncles, parents are listening, jumping may not be the best decision that you will have to make, that you should make. If you get stuck in the in the comments, if you get stuck in the transfer portal, you just killed a year. All right? You can get stuck in that transfer portal. Let's peel back the layers. Before anybody that wants to come onto the show, Let's peel back the layers real quick. XYZ team. Let's say Division I team, FBS team, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, Big 12. It's springtime. Spring ball is almost about to start. So XYZ team is already set. They are already there. Their starters are determined. People already know who's playing. And here you come. Whoop, you jump into that transfer portal. What's the reality that's happening? X, Y, and Z team needs you badly or needs somebody for your position. Have you done research to find out which teams are lacking? Are you following channels like mine that's doing videos and they're discussing which teams are lacking I mean, they're discussing which positions are lacking on your specific team? Because we talk about it here all the time. So if you are a smart player who is, we said don't watch, but we know you're watching because you're bored, just like the rest of us. We're all bored around here, so we watch stuff. But if you're watching a channel like mine, like TLP Sports Club, you're watching and you're listening to very specific things, like which position. Every time we discuss and we say which position on the Buffs are lacking, then you as a family member will either take that information back to your cousin or whoever's on Colorado or whoever's on whatever team, Miami, Florida, whatever, wherever, right? And you will say the Buffs are lacking in this position. You would say, oh, they need linebackers. So if you are such a linebacker who you know you are a dog, you've been watching Wild Offer, you've been watching, you just know you're a dog, but your team is probably a team that is stacked at that position. So you're like, I think I'm going to jump because I watch TLP Sports Club or I watch such and such show and they told me that this team is lacking that. So you would reach out to such team. You would try to, I don't know what the rules are as far as you reaching out, but you have to enter your name into that transfer portal to make yourself available before any team can come at you. So you have to do some due diligence. You have to do something, and you have to arm yourself with information. Don't just jump because you feel like, oh, this is not good for me, or the competition is too tight. So I just need to jump, and then I hope that somebody will pick me up. No. You're in school learning, so at least be advantageous. Do your research and find out what's out there before you jump. Because when you find out what's out there, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't find out what's out there. When you find out what's out there, then you can make an informed decision. People can reach out for you. Talk to your position coaches. If they force you out, if somebody's saying, well, do X, Y, and Z, if you're a nice person, I'm sure there's some type of communication. There is the person that's the liaison, that is the connection between you and other what's happening. Put in a good word, coach. Hey, coach, I'm leaving. We know that is mutual. So is it possible you can put in a good word with X, Y, and Z, coach? Somebody let me know. Maybe I'm naive on that, and I don't know for sure, but I'm just talking out of my head or whatever. So forgive me for that. But I'm sure there's relationships. You text your boys. Everybody has some type of friend. Text your boys like, yo, what y'all lacking? What is y'all lacking? And do y'all need me? Can I come over there? If I come over there, do you think I can get some playing time? Because what would be the point of you having this culture at Colorado, leave Colorado or whatever team that you're leaving, jump into that transfer portal, go somewhere where nobody knows you, nobody cares, you have no friends, you have nothing, you got to start all over again, and you're not going to play anyway. So what's better for you? To stay over here and hope that, God forbid, somebody gets hurt, or hope that somebody drops the ball, Coach Prime gets mad at them, hope they smoke some trees and lose their spot, and then you get on? Something, right? Something. So you got to roll the dice. You got to figure out what's good for you. All right, so let's see. I've talked enough. I've talked a lot. Let's see if anybody wants to come on here. Join tlplive@gmail.com is the email, guys. What's going on, guys? Y'all are in the chat. Let me say hello. I've been yabbling, yabba dabba doing, and y'all just having a good old time in the chat. Tennis Channel, how you doing? Feel so real. What's up? Bump Texas 5X. I don't know what that means, but Bump TY 5X. Could it say Bump Texas? I don't know. What's up with you, Scoop Brooklyn? What up with you, East Coast Cav? How you doing, brother? See you, Buff Dynasty. What's up? DS, what's up with you? Real Life, how you doing? Mood better. What's up? KMS, what's up with you? ICH, what's up with you? Marcus Burnett, what it do, homie? DC Carson Music, how you doing, brother? What you say, DC? The concern with Colorado is that while you will get visibility, you will be developed to your maximum potential. Looking forward to this season. I mean, for DC to be a butter saying that's pretty, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's a good thing. And people should take notes on that. Understand that when you come to Colorado, you're not just coming to a system where people are going to forget about you. I mean, they do have their flaws. We gotta sometimes say there are some flaws here. We are a Colorado channel, so we don't necessarily delve too deep into all the flaws. We leave that to the hater channels. But there are some flaws. So when you come here, I think you should understand that there are flaws here, and it's because that obviously as human beings, everywhere you go, there's going to be flaws, right? That's why I don't have to go down the list and tell you every little knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone flaw that we have. I'd rather not get in the way of that. I'd rather not be that kind of detractor. I'd rather just let you experience it, because the things where I may say, oh, this is a flaw. Oh, they're not doing this. They're not doing that. If I do that, then I become a detractor, because sometimes you may go to a situation and because of your upbringing, because of the way that you were reared, you may say, yo, that ain't nothing, Harry B, you tripping. That's why we don't do those type of things. And I had a conversation with somebody who was saying, oh, why are you called a hater or a detractor when you are telling the truth? And I simply told him, like, the truth can be, you can detract with the truth. You can be a detractor with the truth. If you have a wife or you have a spouse or somebody who you cook for or they cook for you, when they cook for you and the food is a little salty, tell them the truth. And tell me how well that goes. Tell me how well that goes. Just tell them the truth. Man, this is salty. My goodness. Do you know how to cook? The truth is the food is salty. Yep. That's the truth. It's salty. You are a human being. Your tongue can taste salt, and you got too much salt on this food. Or you burnt the hot dogs. The hot dog is burnt. Just said that's the truth. You know how burnt hot dogs are. It's crispy. It's all black. Probably darker than me. That's a burnt hot dog. That's the truth. So just go ahead and say that. Just say the hot dogs are burnt, man. Who got these daggone burnt hot dogs at this cookout? Tell your mom that. Tell your wife that. Tell them the truth and see how well that goes for you. So yes, the truth can detract too. Trust me. All right. It's not just about you telling the truth. It's how you deliver the truth. It's how you say the truth. Where it's coming from. Where is the truth? How is it coming out? It's not what comes out of the mouth. It's what's in the heart and what's behind that. That's what people talk about detraction. It's not that you're always a hater. It's just like sometimes when you say certain things in the way that you say it, people just feel like, dang, if I have, who these haters when I got family members like yourself. That's what people mean. So I think people get it twisted when they say, oh my gosh, I'm just telling the truth. Why do you feel like me telling the truth? Anyways, Willie, man, thank you for being the first one on deck. I appreciate you calling in. Welcome to Monday Night Football, brother.
Thank you, Harry. Glad to be here, man. How we doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So shall I call you a burnt hot dog tonight or what?
You can call me a burnt hot dog anytime you want.
I will not do that. I will not do that.
I'm too light to be a burnt hot dog. If I was a little darker, you can call me a burnt hot dog.
Okay. Well, you compared it to you. I mean, you say, well, a burnt hot dog is like me. I'm dark.
No,
I'm black.
Dog, okay. Okay, if the hot dog is darker than me, then maybe it's a burnt. I mean, if it's darker than me, If it's my skin, if the hot dog is burnt and if it's dark and it's like my complexion, you can eat that hot dog. But if it's darker than me, that's a burnt hot dog, bro. Like if it's like my shirt,
Okay.
come on now, that's a burnt hot dog, bro.
I agree. I've eaten those before. Hey, Harry, I'd like to address one. You asked so many questions tonight. I'd like to address one
Yeah.
where you talked about the portal a little bit and
Yep.
the mindset of the players that enter the portal. The portal. Can I be a player tonight? Can I be a player tonight?
You want to take the position of a player? Yes. I want to
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
take the position of a player.
Let's
Okay.
role play.
Okay, I'm a DB.
And
okay?
while we're role playing, I want to let everybody know to call into the show, like Tennis Channel, to call into the show. You see the email right above my head, right there. Join tlplive@gmail.com. It's the email. You call me, you email me. I send you a link. You click on the link, and then I'll see you coming in, and then you come onto the show. But go ahead, Willie.
Okay, I'm a DB. I'm gonna take that position. Okay.
Okay.
And I go to see you. I want to play for Coach Prime, play under him for my own personal reasons. So we're in spring training. I'm in spring training. I'm putting out all of everything I know to do. And I hear one of the coaches say, okay, well, this player is doing good. This player is doing good. Da, 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 da. He don't mention me. And I know I'm working my butt off. You know, I get all of the different attitudes and practice and everything. I know I'm working my butt off. But then I hear a statement like that. Okay, I want to go pro. That's my attitude. My attitude while I'm at CU is to be a professional ball player. So when I hear that, my mindset is that, okay, so what? That's him. That's them. And I'm going to compare myself to the best player on there, which is Travis Hunter. So whether I get him or not, that's going to be my aim. Is to go after Travis Hunter. Okay, go probably say, well, crazy. Why would you want to do that? I think I'm just as good as he. I may or may not be, but my mindset is, okay, I'm in good shape. I read my playbook. I do all of these things. But Travis happens to be a much better athlete. Okay, so my thing is, okay, should I enter the portal? I'm not even thinking about the portal right now because my thing is, I want to become a better player. I like Coach Prime. I'm saying this as a player to myself. I like what I'm learning here. So my mindset, I ain't going to go nowhere because right now we're in spring training and nothing has really been proven yet. Travis can get hurt. Guess what? Guess who's going to be next in line? It's the one that's been working the hardest, been showing
Preston
up,
Hodge.
doing everything.
Not Willie. Preston Hodge, DJ McKinney.
Oh, yeah, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, hey, no, why? What I'm saying? Why not Willie, man? Why not
Cooper?
Willie? Yeah,
because
why not
Willie's not because Willie's not him.
No, there you go. But putting me in there, I told you I'm a DB. So I got
you're a DB. That's not him.
I'm a DB, but I want to. Hey, that's
okay.
Hey,
man, you want to be a player tonight? You're gonna get this work. Just know that if you're gonna be a player tonight, you're gonna get this work. So let's go.
You know how many hymns? You know how many hymns they got in the NFL? Not many, but they made it.
We're not talking about the NFL. We're talking about Colorado because the NFL gets from the SEC. They get from all the conferences. So the NFL is the end zone, right? The NFL is not doesn't have different conferences. So you can't compare it to the NFL because the NFL is recruiting from all around the country. So you can't use that.
But that's my goal. My goal is.
CU Buff Dynasty says just because you think you are working your butt off doesn't mean you're on the too deep. And the two deep is mean that like basically the roster. You're not on the roster. Right? You're not.
No.
You're
this
not
is
playing.
what I'm saying. But okay, so the question is, do I quit or do I just keep going? Do I try to get better? Or do I accept with what Dynasty's saying and just say, okay, well then I'm going to transfer to the next portal, transfer in the portal and go to the next school. Well, I may get the same results. Look, I'm already in the house.
So where do you stand? You as a DB right now, you're playing the proverbial DB right now. What decision are you making as a DB when you decide, when you've taken all of the different elements into consideration? What decision do you make? Are you on the side of, oh, I'm just going to stick it out because I think I'm that good? Or what decision are you making?
I'm an athlete. Okay. I want to go pro. So the decision that I'm making the decision that I'm going to stick it out to the end. Now that's just me. Okay.
Okay.
Now, and I'm comparing myself to maybe some player on the team may feel that way, or they may not. So that's why they make the choice: do I stay or do I go? And like you were saying earlier, you just because you get in that portal doesn't mean that they're gonna choose. They're gonna pick you out.
Right.
You may be. We got people in the portal
that
for a
portal's
long
a real
time.
thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Now, if they're offering me a bag, like someone was saying earlier, they're offering me a bag and a starting position, we're gonna guarantee you a starting position. I may think about it because I want to play. Okay,
Well,
let me
bring on East Coast Cav, because that's a good question. What is the likelihood of players that are going to be jumping into the transfer portal the second time around or this last time around? What is the likelihood that they are a bag player? Let me bring on East Coast Cav. Welcome to the show, brother. Thank you for calling in.
What's going on, brothers? Tennis Channel. What's up,
doing,
man?
All right.
What is the East Coast Cav? What is the likelihood of there being bagged players in the transfer portal this time around?
I wouldn't say they're bad players. I just say it's better competition. So it's like for example, they got Preston Hodge and that DJ McKinney kid. So I don't see Jake Miller Jones really getting that much playing time. I mean, let's just be honest. Prom's going to keep bringing in good players, and the transfer portal's open. So I just don't see him getting any playing time. He might get some special teams or something, but the way Prom is moving right now, with bringing in talent, I don't see it happening. And on the record, I have to. Oh boy, this takes a real man out of me. I have to apologize and make a public apology to all the trolls out there, because I've been hypocritical. I get on them about trolling and all of that, but the same trolling that they're doing, I've been doing on other channels with Nebraska and CSU and Oklahoma State and Georgia and Florida, UCF, and Baylor.
Gosh.
So
wait,
I
so
kinda
now
feel
you
like a hypocrite.
understand the perspective of a troll?
I've been king troll. So
wait,
I've been the. You ever play Mortal Kombat? I've been the Shao Kahn of trolls. So I've done worse. So now I kind of felt guilty. So I feel like
wait. We got to explore this, because I think this is interesting. This is an interesting dynamic. When you were in the troll body, right? We got to explore this. You're still in the troll body. Yeah. When you're in the troll body, right? When you are the Hulk, do you feel the energy that you're right to be in that body? Or do you feel different, or do you feel comfortable being in that body?
It feels so wrong, but it feels good. It's like it's the devil's cake, and I'm taking the good. It's that troll life, like my man Diaz says.
So what is the what is the troll now?
So now think about the fact that Colorado has a lot of trolls, right? Has a lot of people that would just like to come at us, call us all kinds of names. So you're telling me that it feels like you feel like you're doing wrong, but somewhere in there you just like, dang, this feels so good, and I just got to keep eating this cake, because I just feel like the people that are responding with emotion, and the more that I tug at those emotional chords, I just feel like I'm getting at them, and the more I do it, the more empowered I feel. Is that how you feel?
You ever see that scene from The Godfather 3? He was like, every time I try to get out, it just pulls me back in. I feel like Pookie from New Jack City. It just keeps taking hold of me. The trolling,
What is the driving force? Are you doing it? Are you seeking power what is your drive then as a troll? There's a reason why I'm doing this. What is driving you as a troll when you're in that troll body? Is it power? Is it energy? What kind of energy are you seeking there?
It's empowerment.
Okay,
I feel like
I have to ask a question though. What is trolling? Because I may have been guilty of that myself. I went on
It's coming
somebody's.
out tonight.
I went on somebody's show, and at the end of the show, he let me on, and they were talking about one thing, and then I brought up CU. I said, "Well, I'm a CU fan." Now is that trolling? Because he let me on,
let me break it down for you.
Yeah, let this guy tell you what a troll does.
Let a reformed troll, who's trying to kick his habit. Let me express this. I'm glad we're having this round table. Going through counseling with Dr. Harry B. So what I do is I pop up in the let's say Nebraska. I've been serving them, but Nebraska and Colorado State, they may post a video. I go in the comments and I just wreak havoc, just all types of comments and your code. The same thing they do to Prime and they do to Colorado. I do it worse to them. So I feel like I'm no better than the other trolls that come in. I need help, Harry.
You know what? Do you have a pillow and are you on the couch? Or are you laying down on the couch? Because right now we're in a therapy session.
I need help.
So listen. So now you understand where some of those guys. I think a lot of those guys are trolling because number one, we like Coach Prime too much. A lot of those people. I mean, you may have a soft spot for those teams, and you may just. If you don't have a soft spot for them, you're just a hard troll that don't care about nothing, right? So a lot of our trolls are people that like Coach Prime, but they don't necessarily want to admit it. But it is just because we go so hard with Coach Prime, they're just like, no, there's no way. But anyways, let me bring on. I'm glad you admitting it is the beginning of the healing process. Okay, just understand that. You finally admitted it. See you, Buff Dynasty. Welcome to the show. You're on your way. Just understand that you're on your way. See you, Buff Dynasty. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Monday Night Football. You finally made it. What's up, man?
Hey, what's happening, guys? How y'all feeling today?
Hey, man.
All is well. All is well.
I'm just chilling, man. What's the topic?
So right now we're talking about the transfer portal not being sexy. We're talking about when young men enter that transfer portal, they gotta be aware. So that's what we're talking about right now. And then obviously East Coast kind of came in with saying that he was a troll, and then we had to kind of explore that so we can get an understanding. We needed to get a clear understanding of the other side, like going on the dark side, and then bringing back the information and say, oh, okay, so this is how those guys must feel when we respond to them. So East Coast Cap, before I get back to see you, Buff Dynasty, would you say, from your experience as a troll, would you say it's better that we do not respond to people like you?
Why do it have to be people like me?
Because you're a troll. You just admitted that you're a troll. So if what's driving you is the power of the response, is it just better that we ignore you? How would you feel if you were ignored in the Nebraska CSU chat rooms? If they ignore you, does that take away some of the power that you feel? Because obviously
they don't ignore me.
That empowers you, right?
It's hard for them to ignore me. Some of them block me. Some of them don't.
But that empowers you. When somebody blocks you, that's a response. So that lets you know that you're getting to them, right?
No, that lets me know I can't go on the channel no more.
Oh, that's hard. Man. That's hard.
All right. Okay. So see you, Buff Dynasty. This is a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Willie was trying to express. Willie got into the body of a DB for even in his old age with Ben Gay on his knees. He wanted to be a DB tonight. And so he's like, it's better for me to stay. But I know that you are a hard supporter of Coach Prime. Let's put you in the seat of a DB and then ask you these questions. Realistically speaking, if the competition is Preston Hodge, DJ McKinney. Huh?
Have a good night. Have a good night.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
So if the competition is that tough for you, what what conversations are you having with your parents? What conversations are you having with yourself? What are you telling yourself? Are you thinking jump? What is your decision? What are the decisions or things that are running through your head as a DB?
I don't know. I can't speak for these kids, but I don't know if they've actually sat down with somebody outside, maybe the position coach, Coach Prime, not your family, and kind of do it. I just don't think a lot of these kids making a real assessment of where they are, like a real true assessment.
Dynasty. Yeah. You are that kid.
Okay.
You get inside the mind.
We're putting the helmet on you tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you're that guy.
You're that guy.
You got the pads on tonight. You got the pads on, and you are having to make this decision. This is you. You are with Coach Prime, and you're seeing the competition. The well-loved media videos all around you. Everything is there. You're in the environment, and you having to make this decision. How are you approaching this decision?
I'm gonna first sit down with my position coach and try to get a real read on where I stand, what's going on, what I need to improve on, and how far I am outside of the too deep. First,
can you please explain what too deep means to my audience that don't understand the football talk, please?
Too deep means the second group that's in. So, say for instance, you got your defensive lineman, you playing a 3-4, you got your first 3 defensive linemen. They are the first team up. That second group of 3 people that come in, that's the too deep. So once those first group of guys go out, say get a break, get an injury, anything like that, you are that next man replacement.
Okay.
On the roster.
So is that the same as the 303?
No. What I'm saying is, I was just giving you an example. Like if we run a 3,
I just wanted him to explain what the too deep, because if people who are BWBs, when they leave these kind of chat rooms and stuff, when they leave these kind of shows, they will continue to hear these football jargons like the too deep.
Too deep basically means you're that next man up after the first man goes down and go out.
All right. So so your position coach tells you what you need to hear, right? What is your next step for you?
Then I'm gonna leave out of there and I'm gonna go and look at myself and see where I think I match up at with what he just told me. As far as what I've been doing in practice, what I've been seeing in practice, how I think I've been performing in practice. Now I'm gonna match it up to what the position coach said.
Okay,
that'll be my second step.
Now let's take the helmets off. Let's take the things off, and then let's just talk in general. Do you think that this is what's happening with these young men? Are they taking this approach that you're taking? Like it seems like a responsible approach, and do you think that they're taking this approach? This is just purely opinion. This is not. This is purely opinion. That's all I'm asking.
My opinion is, I think some of them are thinking a little bit more than themselves too fast. They're not giving it time to develop. Some of these kids come out and have 1 or 2 good practices and think that they're the man and put themselves higher than what they need to be, versus going throughout the entire spring and assess yourself after that point. But some of these guys are thinking too much of themselves because they caught a good pass, or they made a good tackle, or they made a good run, or they intercepted the ball a couple times in practice. That's just my opinion.
Willie, what is your opinion? Well, I think your opinion you stated in your description. You're saying like these young men need to understand that if they're why don't I just allow you to say it? What is your opinion?
So
I would say Willie. Let me get Willie.
Okay, wait, Willie. My bad.
I like what he said, because my opinion. You mean for as what I would say to the coach?
No, what is your opinion as far as like, are these young men making too haste of a decision to jump into that transfer portal? And let me switch it up a little bit. I know, Willie, you're a CU fan and whatever. You love Coach Prime, but can you be unbiased for a second, like not biased to Coach Prime? I don't know if you can be, if that's possible, but just your opinion without thinking about them staying with Coach Prime. If that's possible, I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, still, I'm still a DB. I don't know why this man isn't
No,
playing me.
you're not a DB. You're not a DB anymore. I'm saying you've taken off the pads, and now I'm just getting. I got Willie back, and we're trying to get your opinion based on what do you think most of these young men are making hasty decisions without processing?
I think you're right on that. I think a lot of them are making hasty decisions because they want to play. Like somebody said, they want to play. It doesn't, and they're not looking at, well, maybe I need more development. I need more, and there's more I need to do. And if you look at yourself, like our Dynasty was saying, if you look at yourself, you can see maybe you can see where you're short at. So they make decisions, I think, based on what somebody else say, rather than them putting in more effort. Well, I'm working hard. Maybe you need to work a little bit harder. And I think some of them, I think I should play now. Ego says I should be out there now.
Right.
I can do it now, But, maybe you're not quite there yet. And it's hard for ego to say, oh, no, I'm just as good as he. That's why you have a lot of players getting jealous. So I think that, that's what I think.
But aren't you?
So
wait. So Willie, cut up. Then are you two-tonguing this whole conversation? Because you just told me when you were the DB that you were just as good as Travis Hunter. So what? Where's the ego part coming from again? Then are you that guy? Because you can't say I should think like Travis, like I'm a Travis Hunter. And
that's
work
the other
on my
DB.
game. And then when you're giving an opinion saying, well, some of these guys have egos and thinking that they're as good as the other guy. So which one do you want?
Well, that's the other DB. See, the one I was talking about is the one that want to go pro. The one we're talking about right now, he's not thinking about. He thinks he's as good as he is, but he's not as good as he thinks he is. So that's two different DBs right there, two different attitudes or two different mindsets. I mean, if that makes sense, guys. That's
so which one? Wait. Let me understand. I'm sorry, Buff Down.
Go ahead. No problem.
Let me understand. Should players have that mindset that they are just as good as anybody so that they can elevate their game? Or, so what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Should it have that mentality or should it not? Because you're confusing me a little bit, Willie.
Chickens, there's no chicken. The chicken didn't come before the egg and the egg didn't come before the chicken. It's chickens.
They both came together?
Chickens. Chickens.
So Willie, okay. Regardless of where you buy your fried chicken, tell me what's first: the person having the mentality, or were you not telling me that every player should have the same mentality and not and which is going to then foster the idea of them staying on the Buffs and not jumping to that transfer portal? Is that not what you were trying to tell us?
In so many words, yes, because and this is good that we have in this. That's why I say go into the mind of a player, because each player's mindset is different. So you're going to get the conflicting things. Like that's why I was wanted to have like the role play thing, because now you're actually thinking like those guys are out there thinking when they're playing. Some of them think, like this is what I want to do. The other one's thinking, well, I'm not where I should be. Then you got another one thinking another way. So it's all about, how much, and so you got the weeding out process. This is why some jump into the portal and some say, okay, I'm not going to go in the portal. I'm going to wait it out. And then you got some in the middle, right? And we're talking about a mind. And this is what Coach Prime has to deal with. When players come with different mindsets like that, man, he has to try to put all that stuff together. And what's going to happen? Let the wheat grow with the tare, and then he'll do the separation, if that makes sense. That makes a little bit of sense, guy?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. So one thing about it, one thing for sure, two things for certain. The cream rises to the top. Yeah. So if you were really doing everything that you're supposed to do, you hitting everything on all cylinders, that's on the field and off the field, you're rising to the top without question. There'll be no confusion. There'll be no guessing in your mind frame, and you'll be at the top. So therefore, that measuring yourself against the standard should give you a self check right there. Because one thing about it, if you coming out every day and you beating out everybody, you looking better than everybody, you doing your drills and this, that, and the third, you know all your assignments. I don't care if it's Travis Hunt, I don't care if it's Shador Sanders. You getting in there, you getting in that rotation, you're moving up to the top. So the cream rises to the top. Let me give you an example of a player that that we all know, and this is what I think. I think he did an improper self-assessment. Let's take Jaquez Robinson. Jaquez Robinson came over from Alabama. He had playing issues over there for what reason. So when he came to CU, he didn't have a true player profile that could really stand up. Got to CU, had to work through his injuries, got in the game, got one interception from, I think it was Bo Nix in the Oregon game. Really didn't do too much after that. Jumped in the portal. Why jump in the portal? Understand your path. You came over from Alabama. You didn't have a player profile.
That's Nate Robinson's son?
No, Jaquez Robinson that came over from Alabama. I think he played cornerback. Number 8 he was last year.
Okay, so that's not Nate Robinson's son. He's still there?
No.
Okay.
Nate Robinson's son is still there, yeah. But this is Jaquez number 8 from last season. He jumped in the portal way earlier.
Okay.
But see, he did an improper assessment. Once you move from one school to another, before you make that third move, you need to kind of get developed, get in the game, get some stats up under your belt. You understand what I'm saying? Get some grass in your cleats. He didn't really get any grass in his cleats, and he jumped and moved again. This is why he's still stuck in the portal. You understand? At this stage,
he's still in the portal.
Still in the portal.
That's what I was telling people.
So that's the improper.
That portal is not as sexy as people think it is.
Right. That's improperly assessing yourself, not being realistic with yourself. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, hey, man, I need to put in a little more work. I need to be the first one at the meeting. I need to be the first one at breakfast. I need to be the first one, this, that, and the third. You really got to turn it up a notch as far as what you're supposed to do and hitting all those cylinders before you jump in the portal, before you get in your feelings and say, oh, I'm better than this guy because I made a play on this day or a play on that day. And I can't speak for these kids, but I don't think that's what they're doing.
So let me we talked about this real life comment right here. That's why coaching and instilling in players, belief in players matter. Developing players is key. Weak mindset can be coached out of the players. So I don't know which show it was, but on which TLP Live it was, which episode. But we talked about Coach Prime before I bring on a Wild Dog. Wild Dog, give me a second. We talked about Coach Prime and his messages, and we were asking the panel, what do you think about these constant messages, the constant preachings? Are they good or are they bad? I mean, if we're talking about this comment right here, then Coach Prime's messages seems like a good thing. And,
so,
you know.
Speaking on that right there, Harry, I was talking to my mom yesterday. I was watching one of the videos, I think, where the two guys, Moochie and the other guy came in. And I had showed it to my mom. We got to talk about Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, I forgot my point right there. And that's that fast. I'm getting old. What was the question?
We were talking about Coach Prime. We was talking about Coach Prime and his constant preachings, and we were talking about how.
So I would tell my mom, I was like, 95%, if not more, of these kids are not going to the NFL. So that preaching and stuff that Prime is doing, he's actually trying to reach those other 95% of kids and give them something. Those speeches and stuff it should be hitting home and should be valuable to them. That 5% that has it, that is going to the NFL, you don't really have to do anything for them, but kind of nudge and push and give them certain information on their path to the NFL. But they got it. Those other 95,
that's a good point.
Other 95% of the kids in that room, that's who he's talking to, and that's who he cares more about, because he understands that they're going to have real life after their 4th year. You understand what I'm saying? So that he really needs to do more preaching to those kids. You know what I'm saying? Like he said in that thing, you're going to leave here with something. Either you're going to be a great football player or you're going to be a decent man. You know what I'm saying? So he's taking care of those kids who are not going to reach their dream in football going to the league. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a good point. Let me bring on Wild Dog.
Yeah.
Let me bring on Wild Dog. Wild Dog, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you always. What do you think about what Buff Dynasty just said?
I mean, it's right on point because I'm big on academics, right?
Mm.
Academics first, and then your athletic ability and your skill is going to come along anyway. You're going to have visibility. You know what I'm saying? So, I would have been one of those cats being, that was realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are all my options to get me to school and get my education paid for? Because I come from, simple folk who ain't, who can help you. But even by the time I came along, there were people in school ahead of me. So I was on my own. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
Mm.
so I was 100% on my own. Even just figuring it all out, I was completely on my own. And my priorities was just for one step in front of the other: getting to school, getting my school paid for, getting my engineering degree, and then going to serve my country. That was my path. Now,
Mhm.
if something dealing with track and the Olympics popped up, great. If something with football and semi-pro, even pro or something came along, great. But my lifelong path, from the time I was, 17 till I'm 70, that's not football, dog. You know what I'm saying? I was
So
just
let me
one of
ask
those cerebral people. So
quick.
again, I'd be one of those academic athletes that Prime would be talking to, and I'd be taking notes, football or related or not. I'd probably have a separate notebook just for his life messages and mindset messages, along with my other resources.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you this question on this panel. 'Cause you guys you guys are the responsible type. Do y'all think that our generation played a part in the way that our minds were framed? And obviously, there are people that were in our generation that we did have our loose gooses, right? But do y'all think that our generation kind of helped us to frame our mind frame on how we took certain things like education and stuff like that? Because for some reason, what I'm gathering to a lot of these young men is that now that we've come out of slavery, now that we've come out of civil rights, and we're so far removed from a lot of things where people used to be fighting for. Now that a lot of us have money now, is this affecting how the next generation or the generation that's coming that is up right now, is this affecting them and how they perceive what life is? Because when you're saying wild dog, when you're saying stuff like, man, my education, I wonder where that mind frame is coming from. Like, was there something that was inside of your brain that was like, man, I don't like my situation, and the only way I can better my situation is my education, and something in your environment was pushing you? So is that environmental? Is that circumstantial? Is it based on our upbringing? What exactly do you think that comes from for us, and what they're lacking?
I think it's been taught a
Well,
certain way and not caught.
yeah.
Now, what do I mean by that? When we were coming up, education was not a big thing. Now, some of us, and I'm speaking particularly to African Americans. Most of us, the majority of us, were taught to work hard, and if you work hard, you show you good stuff, the man's gonna take care of you. Well, but the emphasis was never on education, and well, like for the other portion of us, education was a good thing, but for the majority of African Americans, it was never. So the kids today see it a little bit different. So you have to pretty much, I don't know, you have to pretty much talk to them in a way. Now, like my kids, it was all about education. Why? Because I went to college. So if I went to college, I say this should be your desire to do that too, because I wasn't taught that by my mother, or not even my father or my stepfather. I learned that, hey, look, you got to get this. This is an opportunity, and the thing that helped me was sports. I was a basketball player. I was a pretty good basketball player, so I was the first one in my family to get, a scholarship to go. So my kids, I have one son now. My youngest son, this joker have 9 degrees. I struggled to get one. He's got
Wait,
9. And so,
how do
like,
you get 9 degrees? How long you gotta be in school
I
to get
don't,
9 degrees?
well, he's 37 years old now, okay? So I
Wow.
guess within that period of time, I'm asking the same thing. I said, boy, in the heck you get 9 degrees, but that's a good thing, you know? So a lot of the kids' mindsets are different because of what you tell them or what you teach your kids.
Mm.
If that makes okay, go.
All
So
right, Buff Dynasty, let me hear from you.
when I speak about it, I'm speaking from experience, and
Okay.
I'm speaking from experience as I guess what we would call a dodo bird. I didn't have any. I grew up in a single mother home. I played quarterback all my life from Part 1 all the way up to high school. Uh, I didn't have anybody really in my ear with, the educational part, staying on the right track, doing this, that, and the third. I was a quarterback, so I was able to not go to certain classes and go throw the football or hang out in the weight room. And, so I was born in 78. So you're looking at middle school and high school is what, the 80s through the 90s. So what I'm speaking from is an experience being able to look back and see where I went wrong and the things that I needed to do. So sometimes these kids don't have the proper guidance. They don't have the proper people in the corner. And a lot of these guys is coaching, man. They really coaching for wins and records and scores and being able to brag and be macho because I scored this many points or my quarterback had this, that, and third, and forgetting about the kid in the process. So a lot of these kids don't have proper guidance. And, and I think when they come in contact with Coach Prime, his coaching staff, and the standard, it kind of knocks them off their feet a little bit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So I mean,
they
that's
need more people. They need more people like what's my guy that just came? Hageman. His position that he taking on, it's a very important position. It speaks to exactly what I just spoke to. That's what his position does, and that's what a lot of these kids need, man.
the you talking about the liaison for the NFL.
Yeah, George Hageman just came over from was it IMG?
Oh, you talking about the player, or I thought you talking about the coach?
No, the coach guy. He came over from IMG. The big guy played.
Hegeman. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So he's the liaison. He's the communication liaison for the NFL. So he's the guy that, if you want to go to the NFL, he tells you how to get there. That guy, right?
He gives you your plan and everything like
Right.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So that's why. Okay. So just kind of like, going back to this whole conversation with Coach Prime, because I had the position. I took the position where I said that some of these kids might fall asleep and maybe it's too much. But now in hindsight, just listening to, I mean, just kind of like, I think it was at one point this week where, or last week, I was preparing for a video, and there are some of the young men who don't, for some reason, it's like something is missing. There's a connection that's missing. And then I started thinking about it. I said, you know what, man? I have to change my position. Just like East Coast Cav came on here and he was like, man, look, I have to apologize. I have to look back. I had to sit back and I had to think for a second. I gotta take that back where when I said that it could be too much,
right.
I don't think it's too much, bro. I think just like you said, See You Buff Dynasty, where you said some of these young men don't get this, they don't get that kind of talking. They don't get to hear anybody tell them. So I think the fact that you're in Coach Prime's presence and you're in his sight and he's instilling valuable stuff in your, you know what I'm saying, in you every single day, I take it back. They need that stuff.
They need it. Because like if you
They do.
so
They really do.
if you take my situation, I was a high school quarterback.
Mhm.
Did you hear what I said? It was certain classes I didn't have to go to. I could hang out in the locker room. I could go on the football
Talk
field
on that.
and
Talk on that.
I can go on the football field and throw passes. Really didn't have to worry about work. So this is the thing. And everybody was kind of
Ooh.
throwing roses at my feet like I'm some god. Now imagine if I'd have hung in there and didn't, mess my plan up. And this would have went on through all the way through my senior year. And then I get signed with a college. And I go to that college. And this is the first time that I came in contact with a man that's gonna check my toilet stool for my ish. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a shock. It's gonna be a shock. Either I'm gonna accept it and roll with it, either I'm gonna let it agitate me and knock me off my path, or either I'm gonna be combative against it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'm
don't know.
glad. I'm glad you said that, because I think I've said that several times, where we got to understand that a lot of these young men are coming from areas where their little town, they were the man in their town. They were worshipped. They were praised, and everybody was telling them, "Hey, you're the man, and you get free food. You go to the McDonald's, you go to your favorite fast food restaurant. Your pictures everywhere in your town. Like the diners got your name and stuff like that. You're a local hero." So you come out of that setting and you go to a Colorado, or you go to one of these D1 schools, and now everybody is just like you, right? You got 3 or 4 of those guys that were the man in their town, and God forbid, like, one of them are way better than you, and you're fighting for the same position. And this guy happened to be a national treasure. Let's take Travis Hunter for an example. He happens to be a national treasure now.
Yeah.
And you're coming in and you're the man from your town. How are you taking this? What is it like now? How is your feeling like? You feel me?
It's a wake up call. It's a shock.
Yeah, Harry B. When you're even like the Wade brothers, that everybody's like, I don't know if they have it or not. Remember, there's twin brothers. There's 2, an outside linebacker and a quarterback. I mean, they were basically the winner and runner up for Mr. Football in their state. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And they go to Kentucky, and it's like, well, yeah, whatever. And Kentucky's not, is a basketball school. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then they come to CU, and then I think it's even more of a rude awakening. And we're talking about Mr. Football, first place and runner up, the twin brothers. So, I mean,
you go from being Mr. Football to like you
better of your whole state,
right?
And you're nationally ranked, to where you're trying to hope that, okay, am I going to be second or third string?
So
that's a rude awakening that a lot. We need to talk more on this thing, because these kids are listening. Their parents, somebody's listening for these kids. That kind of rude awakening, it has to jolt you. It got to do something inside of you.
So, and if you hadn't been built up right in your home life, in your school life, in your sport life, I mean, then your team is. That's why I preach about kids building up a team around them, and even the college kids, like we spoke about before, I double down on they have to have a team. And like you just said, some these players are listening, not them directly, but someone in their team is filtering or out here listening or participating, so they can help them read the landscape of what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the best possible situation. But you got kids like in my situation, I had both. I had people outside my home give me proper advice. I'd be reaching out for advice. Yes, serve your country, but come in as a commissioned officer. Don't come in, what I'm saying, enlisted, right? Get your education fundamentally, because that's kind of what's required for you to be able to do everything that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
You got to have that piece of paper. But for some reason, this is a plan I had since the 7th grade. For some reason, when I graduated, my mother expected me to go to work and help pay bills, and my stepfather figured I was going to go straight into the Army. Totally ignoring the whole fact that it was Air Force, because I was a nerd. You know what I'm saying? With my test scores and my situation, it was the Air Force recruiter. Even though I spent years in, ROTC, Army ROTC, and trained with active duty U.S. and German Army. What's that got to do with, what I'm saying? That gives me more options. Despite all of that, the very next day after high school graduation, this is what my parents expected of me. Regardless of my plans, regardless of who visited, who called. I mean, they didn't even cooperate, because back then you had to have your parents' information, right?
So hold on.
Because if your parents were rich, you couldn't get scholarships. I couldn't even get my parents to sign a piece of paper for me to sign or do anything for me to go to school.
You bring up this dynamic, and we need to talk about
Yeah.
this a little bit.
Yeah, if
We
they
also
weren't
have
government employees, I would have been totally screwed. Because they were
we all
government employees, then they were able to track everything they needed about them.
we talk about the role of the parent or the guardian, right? What they are requiring of you and what you're requiring of yourself. I think we need to talk more about that because some of these young people are listening and watching. And see you, Buff Dynasty. I want to know what you were the man in your town, and from your perspective, did you have a strong enough well, yeah, what role were your parents and your guardians playing as far as like telling you, hey, you got to do this and you got to go here or you got to go there, or was everything was all the decisions based on you and what you were thinking? And you know what I'm saying? And did you have that strong base for to tell you what to do?
So honestly speaking, I did not. I had a single mom. It's me and my brother. So she barely could even come to the games because she was, working 2 jobs. So no, I didn't have that. You know what I mean? I didn't have that.
So what was it like at home when you came home? You come home and like, okay, mom's working, and did it mess with your psyche when you were playing and you're the man, everybody's admiring you, and you're not necessarily getting the same admiration or not even being recognized that you are the man at home?
Well, my mom knew I was good, but sometimes you think about it. But for the most part, to keep it real, keep it real as I can. You get enough love from the outside, like from the fans and the people in the school and newspaper and stuff like that. That it supersedes what I got from home. Not saying that my mother didn't care. I'm just saying she had other
She couldn't. She was too
Yeah.
busy trying to put food on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the love from the outside kind of fulfilled that hole temporarily. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
That's just
and then
But
go ahead, Willie.
well, my story is this: I was on my own since at the age of 17 years old.
Right.
When I got ready to leave Louisiana, my mom put me out. To be honest with you guys, she put me out. I wasn't a bad kid. I was just mischievous. Okay.
Right.
Bad kids went to jail, but I was just mischievous. And she just got tired of putting up with me, put me out of the house. I stayed with sisters, aunties, stayed with relatives and everything. So when I got ready to leave Louisiana to go to Texas, she had to sign for me to go. And she asked me, she said, "Is this what you want to do?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I was ready to get out of that. So I was on my own at the age of 17 years old. Now, let me tell you something about being on your own. Now, at that age, early, you had to fend for yourself. Now, all of a sudden, you can't come home to no meals. There's no, nobody pretty much to tell you what to do. You learn a lot of things on your own, and this is what you're gonna either go to the streets or if some kind of way you're gonna get your life together. I will happen to be one of the smart ones that if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it on my own, and I learned really quick. So when it came time for me to go to college and everything, I did all that pretty much on my own.
Wow.
But my mom was like the rest of you guys, parents. During that time, mom had to do what she wanted to do. So she didn't have time to be bothered with a knucklehead boy that didn't want to listen.
Right.
I had 2 other sisters at the house. She didn't want to be bothered with that because she was too busy doing other things. And so
let me highlight that, Willie. Sorry to cut you off, but let me highlight
that's
that
okay.
because I want people to understand something. The dynamics that are in these homes. The transfer portal situation is a conversation that must be had by parents and guardians and people like that, because a lot of these young people really don't understand this whole free agency thing. A lot of these people don't understand NIL. They don't understand what's going on. When you go to college, especially if you are a freshman, there's a lot coming at you at one time, and then you are a student athlete. That's something to also understand. You're a student athlete. You got to read a lot of stuff to understand. Somebody's got to be there to educate you on what's going on. You have to help there. Coach Prime is there to help you. The people all around you, they're trying to help you. But sometimes, even though you know that it's there, it doesn't mean that you're hip on understanding how to get the help. Coach Prime said that in one of the videos. He's like, don't let all of this help go away, go to waste. The help is there. But keep in mind that the dynamic that we're talking about is the fact that parents may be in your life, but they may not be in your life.
Right.
I wanted to highlight that. They may be there, but mom may be having to work. Mom got to work, so she ain't got the time to help you with the homework.
Right.
So when she ain't got time to help you with the homework, and especially if she's like, see you Buff Dynasty's mom, if she ain't got time to help you with the homework, and you're getting so much praise, and you don't necessarily have to go to class because you're scoring all the touchdowns, now your grades are not up to par. So you're kind of skating, you're kind of skating by, and then you get to a situation at CU where the academic requirements are much higher. You see what I'm saying? But you never learn how to study properly. You never learn how to take notes properly in high school.
You know why that is?
You
know why that is? That's because a lot of these kids, they come in one track minded, football only. They really believe they're going to go. They believe that they're going to go to the league. They're putting all the eggs in one basket. They don't care nothing about the other basket, not realizing that the percentages for you to be of that 95% are greater than none.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
And you know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. So a lot of these young people, when they jump into that transfer portal, it's not just because they don't know how to play or they're not as good. I think a lot of it has to do with grades also. Some of these kids are not all of these kids that are leaving have to do with the fact that they can't play football. I don't think that's the case.
Right.
I think a lot of them are look, they have to make decisions that are like, look, CU, one thing people don't understand about CU's curriculum is Ivy League curriculum. They're not officially Ivy League, technically, but their curriculum and the things that the way that they teach kids, it's Ivy League curriculum. So that has to be said too. That has to be put out there. That when it comes to the coursework, when it comes to doing the work, a lot of these kids are in over their heads. When the professors are engaging you and they need you to be engaging, and you're not capable, that's important as well. We overlook that dynamic. We overlook that part of it, and we just think like it's all football related. But
Harry, do you know that CU has an education? I mean, the football team has an education department there for if kids are having any kind of issue. They got this lady, I forgot her name, but she's a black lady there.
Yeah.
Remember when she came on and she was talking about, we're going to make sure that they get their homework done or get whatever they need to get done educationally. So there's that, I forgot what her name was, but that's her responsibility. Make sure they're getting what needs to be done. And if the kids ain't doing it, because you can say, hey, look, you need to do this. If you need some help, I'll get you some help. You need tutoring, we'll get you some tutoring. But you can set up a tutoring program. If they don't go, that's not on Coach Prime. Everything them boys need, man, is right there. They ain't got to go nowhere. Everything.
That's what I was saying. The help could be there. Because when you were like when CU Buff Dynasty and when he was in high school, the help was there. But as a young man that the whole world is watching, right? In one of those videos, then coach bringing a previous a friend from his television days and say, introduce yourself. And he was telling them that the whole world is watching. He's letting them know that everybody's watching. So there's other dynamics where a lot of these kids are taken to their heads, not understanding that, the education part is primary. We don't make it enough. When everybody's praising you and watching you, just like CU Buff Dynasty just said, a lot of these young men are one track minded. Yeah. They're not focused on the education part, which is the first thing. because everybody's praising you. Everybody is saying, "Oh my gosh, CU Buff." Colorado is still the hottest ticket on the planet. Colorado football is still the hottest show on the planet. All right. And when you're in that spotlight, when the light is on you like that, some of these kids are not thinking about school, man. I'm not thinking about school. They're just thinking about playing.
Hey, but Harry B, when you got, resources abundant, then it's only about your priorities.
Yep.
And you've seen where Coach Prime has been hitting on what's holding you back. What's the issue? Right? Say it slow. Issue. It's you. Because we've gone above and beyond to provide multiple layered resources for everything, for mind, body, and spirit. It's all covered. If you're dealing with any trauma from growing up, I mean, CU has one of the best mental health programs, in the country, at a university. So whether you're a player or a student, anybody you're involved with the university, they have a very strong mental health program. All you got to do is just, inconspicuously slide in.
That's what
and it's taken care of. It's taken care of.
Yeah,
true. And it's taken care of.
True.
But Octavius Lee says even with help, a lot of these kids may not have the mental capacity to receive the help. And that, again, that's what we've been talking about for the most part in this, on this panel, is that everything could be right there for you. But a lot of these kids, unless they've been like Wild Dog, unless somebody's in your corner, unless somebody's there explaining to you, like, helping you to understand it, then you would not understand the system. Okay. Let me, Wild Dog, I'll give it to you in a second, but let me tell you all this. I'll give you all this story. I'm not from this country. So when I came here in 1989, right? So high school, and I had to go straight to middle school from age 12, not knowing how to read, nothing. So I had to just jump in there and do what I had to do. I get to college eventually, right? Nobody goes with me to tell me, hey, this is how you do this, this is how you do that. Nobody's there to tell me anything. So I get to college. Remember, I want you to please understand, I did not grow up in an environment in America where conversations were being had with me every single day, like I do my kids right now, where high school, college, this is how you do it. High school, college, no conversation, nothing like that. Until maybe when I came over, and then my dad started telling me a little bit, but my dad wasn't coaching me. Like, my dad was working, so he wasn't coaching me every day about the United States system. All I knew was I went to high school. I didn't even know that I was a very good athlete, but nobody taught. My dad didn't know this, so he couldn't help me. He never told me that you can use athletics to get into college. He didn't tell me that, so I didn't take it seriously. I didn't know what to do with that, so I just did what I could. But I get to college, and nobody tells me this is how you sign up for your classes. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. No conversations. A lot of these young men are like myself. They're not having no conversations in their homes. Ain't nobody telling these young men, oh, okay, they're good at sports, but mama's busy, daddy's busy. Ain't nobody having no conversations. So when they get to college, what are they supposed to do?
And see, this is the sad reality in 2024 and going forward. Now, some of these kids may have the proper people in the household or the proper people in their circle. But yet again, the educational part is going to be pushed to the back, because now it's about how big of a bag can you get. That's the topic at the forefront now. So so now the educational part is pushed even further in the back of the bus. You see what I'm saying? Which is going to be detrimental, because I got 3 grandkids. When they start playing sports or whatever they do, well, I don't care what it is they want to be, but if it happen to be sports, I'm going to relate to them through my failing experiences that we don't use sports for educational purposes. We're going to use the educational purpose to have fun in sports, because even if you do happen to make it to any league, the time span of let's say a football player is 3 to 5 years. what are you going to do after that 3 to 5 years? You still need something to fall back on, even when you
Mm.
accomplish made your dream. You see what I'm saying? So education has to start becoming the focal point. Or, you're not going to have anything to fall back on after your football career is over if you happen to make it.
But
Yeah, and Harry B.
it's corny though. You see what I'm saying? Like in this is where I get so amped up, because this stuff is corny. Us talking, we're old, we're beyond our years, and this is corny to the ears of those young people. This is, what you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when Cool Rich says they're thinking about the bag, and someone told them that somebody else will be doing their work. Think about the type of parents that we're dealing with today. Think about the type of
I'm feeling it, Harry B. But like my immediate thought to Octavius's comment was that that's what we got Cheney there for. Cheney's job is to identify red flags.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to not let players slip through the cracks. Now his office is full, and then like Begman, the Super Bowl offensive lineman, he came through to speak last year, and now he's part of the team because guess what? When they evaluate the program, it's like, well, we're losing guys because of this. We're having issues with that. Well, who do we know who have a relationship with that can come expand on, the work that Cheney does? And that's where you have the new guy, the offensive lineman. I'm tired. I might be messing his name up, but Begman, you know what I'm saying? Begman.
Hageman, George
right?
Hageman.
So he comes in to expand that role on another level. So if Cheney can't reach you, who's been grounded in youth sports and youth development for the last 20-something years, then you know what I'm saying? Then Hageman, can fill in that gap. Or if you're, if you're a more elite or if we're missing you on this end, we'll catch you on the other end. So between the two of them now, I mean, there shouldn't be any players falling through the cracks. You a young man, even if you want to say a very young man, you make your decisions. If you don't have a team, if your people are against what you're doing or liable to cause you issues, like you have issues firing people, you have all the, mental health and social skill support directly around you. And they're looking for red flags, pulling everybody in the office and then setting appointments.
It still fall through the cracks.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 100%, but I'm just saying, what else can you expect the program to do? So if guys going to transfer or guys ain't cutting the mustard, it just is what it is. Yeah. Because there's people like me, I'm grinding. I was up like them dudes talking about. I know I grew up military and country, but for real, like my first workout was at 5 a.m.
Right.
I go shower, I eat breakfast, and I'm starting class at 7 a.m. Then I got to catch up with the football team, the track team, or whatever else, and then I'm wrapping up my day about 7 p.m. I never had a day in college that wasn't 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Right.
So was it you, Wild Dog, or was it See Above Dynasty that said that like at the end of the day, you pretty much they know who is who, like the 5%. They already know the 5%, so they're not necessarily talking to the 5% because the 5% are those guys that are already locked in. Like their brain is already like, you don't necessarily have to say much to those guys. You don't have to say much because either they have the right upbringing. Like, let's just pick on Kwamani for 1 second. I don't mean to pick on him, but let me just use him as an example for a second. There are other high school students that came in with him, right? That got it right away. You know what I'm saying? For some odd reason, they knew what to do, but we keep using this one excuse of let the young man grow. He just came from high school, as if other high school students weren't there at the same time that he got there. So if you understand, it's like there are people, there are kids that are on that team that get it. Now, there's a lot of them that don't get it. And you're wondering, like, what is it that's going to take for y'all to understand to maximize this moment? And let me bring on Cool Rich, and Cool Rich, welcome to the show. We're gonna jump you in right on that question, and then we'll toss it around to the other panel guys. You said you understand about college. You say you understand about college football, and you're ingrained into this thing. So what is it about these young people that the 5% that understand their destiny, they get it, but then there's so many of them that really don't understand what's going on?
And well, first I want to thank you for bringing me back up. And what's up, everybody on the panel?
Sure, man.
Y'all
Hey,
doing
sir,
good.
what's going on, man?
What's going on, family? So as far as with this, brother, I'm gonna be honest. Like they won't actually appreciate it until it's over. Like until everything is really over. And I say that because I've seen this to such a degree where, like I've told y'all even in the first time, I got family that's been entrenched in this, like, and I've seen them blow their opportunity. I'm talking about D1 scholarship and throw away their life and go to prison doing stupid stuff. So for an individual that can't even look at the simplicity of just going to class and doing your work and then just coming home, in which I understand that, back in the past, there used to be a lot of different dynamics, financial dynamics that, you didn't really have to deal with now. Now they have the ability to make money off of their names. So their main focus for them right now is kind of like, all right, how can I bring up my bag more? How can I increase my revenue more? And then on top of that, how can I also increase my playing time? Because if I do that, then that's going to give me some looks on the NFL stage. The NFL doesn't really care too much about how my grades look, even though that they don't know that the NFL does care about your grades and things like that, because they want to know how you'll be able to interview, how you'll be able to carry the brand of the NFL and things like that. Do you have the understanding and the wherewithal to be able to do that and know what to do and what not to do? So it's a lot of those dynamics that they pretty much discount until 4 years later, and then they come back for homecoming and everybody looking at them like, dang, bro, why you ain't go to the league? Well, like, shoot, man, it's like, what happened in your senior year? Like, I ain't see your senior, man. Shoot, it was just, but on the real, they got academically dismissed.
I got a question that's about to mess y'all up, and I'm gonna mess me up. Can we blame hip hop for this?
No.
Or at least a percentage of hip hop?
No, I wouldn't. No,
bro, Lim Bias is a prime example. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
What's the source for gangster rap? What's the source for the new hip hop? What's the source for
let
it?
me lay it down. Let me lay it out, and maybe y'all can tell me if I'm going crazy. But is it like, because hip hop today is not like it's not like the, you know what I'm saying, like the hip hop of yesteryears where we're fighting for rights and stuff like that. It's more for the bag, going after your money, get yours, make money, do this and do that. It's like more about the bling and how much money you can get, and how many girls you can get, how much money you can have, having the best of life. There's no reality, I feel like, in hip hop. I feel like everything is about big cars, more money, more bling, but nobody's really talking to the real inner city where kids are hurting. Mom and dad are not getting along. Mom and dad is working too hard to even pay attention to us. So it's like nobody's really speaking. To tell you the truth, nobody's really speaking to the issues that are going on in the inner cities. It's more so money, money, money. So you don't think that plays a part in how these young men who are coming into these situations where now they understand they can get money? You don't think that plays a part into their psyche and the way that they're thinking about the bag? Hip hop doesn't play no part or a big part.
But don't how easy it is. I mean, look, I'm gonna say yes and I'm gonna say no, because it depends on, you want the bag. We've been taught if we want the bag, you get your butt out there and work for it. Now there are different types of work you could do to get the bag, but a lot of people try to get smart. Well, if it's not physical, then it's got to be I've learned how to use my mind. I'm not going to say it's total, and I came through it all. Marvin Gaye, to all of the music when music was music. Now that's another subject. However, I'm not going to say totally. It's once again we're talking about a mindset, and if you're right, Harry, about the whole thing is about about the money, but it's always been about the money. It's always
not
been
as
how
it is today, because I can tell you a time where hip hop was really about, civil rights. Hip hop started off with being about making sure that our community was healthy, making sure that our minds were good, read a book. So hip hop has had its chance in the limelight with trying to help us as a community.
So when did that change?
The reason why I bring up gangster,
Harry B, Harry B, I can shoot at you straight real quick. Let me shoot at you straight real quick. If the music stopped, the riding on 22s, blinged out, wearing $300 t-shirts is going to keep on going. And like Cool Rich said,
right.
Even guys that had opportunities, the tendencies of what they grew up with, they had issues letting go of for new, better opportunities. So the streets are still going to be the streets.
I get that, but the way that the young people move, that spirit is not going to be the same.
That mentality is still going to be there if the music stops and the images stop. The streets and that mentality is still going to be there. It's the root of it.
What is the root then? Can somebody help me with the root? Because this is how I think. I think music.
The root is young people having to figure it out on their own. It's figuring out on their own, doing their own thing. They don't care about the past. They don't care about the future. All they care about is right now. And they're out there on their own, figuring it out on their own with little or no guidance. Oh, thank God they came home alive. That's your base minimum.
Hey,
or maybe they don't care if they come home or not. Well, you're out there in the streets. That's what happens.
Harry,
I had to let go of that and live my life. I don't know where their daddy at. I don't care. Or this and that. Or the daddy might be out there rolling with them.
You're saying that's the root, but you're describing this as that's symptomatic of something bigger, though. So that's not the root. You're saying that if people are starting to not care, then there's something that's behind that you're saying. There's something
Tarzan was
that.
left in the
How did we get there?
Tarzan was left in the jungle and became an ape. You leave these kids out on the street on their own, using their own faculties. What are they going to become? This is it, Harry B. This is what we're seeing. There's nothing to blame but them kids being left out in the wild, the concrete jungle, on their own. What are they going to become? Wild animals.
Harry, somebody in the chat said that Harry's trying to he's gonna have an entire rap concert.
All right, cool, Rich. Go ahead with your thoughts.
So I would say that the root, if I was to give anything, I would give the root of it is an insecurity for attention. Because for the most part, a lot of them got attention. And then as they kind of got into a different space, you know what? No. Because I want to say it's attention, but then at the same time, it's like a lot of
it has another root, though. That's another root. But it's
like because I could go with finance, I could go with everything else. It's like putting the blame on just one thing is making it too easy. It's like intellectually, it's like being intellectually dishonest in a way where it just making it too we're simplifying it way too much. Like it's a multivariate dynamic. So because of that creates so many different nuances that we have to deal with. That's why, you can't really address everything or every issue, because some people like Cormani, they may end up looking at the situation and being like, hey, I'm getting a lot of publicity, I'm doing this, I don't really care, all that stuff like that. But then you might have a person like Alton McCaskill who is like, I come from humble beginnings as well, but I actually take this stuff serious. I more so make sure that I got everything taken care of. Same thing with Dylan Edwards. They more so have things taken care of. You don't really have to worry about them. You just more so can put them out there. So it's like.
So let me ask. So before you continue, let me ask this question. This is just a yes or no question. Wild Dog, did you have both parents when you were playing sports? Did you have both parents in your home advising you?
No. I mean, even when my mother got remarried, I mean, I would ride my bike to games, or if I was lucky, get dropped off with my bike. I mean, I had my coach and my coach's wife. So I networked with all the coaches that I played for or played against. And yeah, for the most part, my mother, and not that she had to miss, but I mean, I was, yeah.
Okay.
On a rare occasion, yeah.
Okay. Tennis Channel, did you have both parents when you were playing?
Yeah, but my stepfather was more like my employer. Because the days I didn't go to school, I had to go to work with him. So even though
when you played, you had to work and play.
I had to work and play.
So see you above Dynasty. You didn't have both parents. It was your mom. But what your situation? What did you just have sports, or did you have to? Were you like Tennis Channel? Did you have to work also? What? See you above. You still there? All right. So he's muted right quick. Tim, welcome to the show, brother. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you, brother.
Yo, what's up, Harry? Hey, to the rest of the panel, how you brothers doing?
Tim, what's up, man?
Greetings, brother.
Doing, brother.
See you, Buff Dynasty. Are you there? I think he's there, but his audio is not coming in.
Mic or something.
Okay, there you go. I can hear you now.
That was me.
Did you? Okay, maybe. All right, so Tim, opening statement. Let me jump you in. You probably heard something that you wanted to speak on before I ask you any questions.
Mm-hmm. We can backtrack. I did want to comment on something that I heard, but
okay, let me ask you a question then. Hip hop, you responded in the chat on the hip hop situation.
Mm-hmm.
Does hip hop? We obviously this hip hop is an easy target, right? We can always blame hip hop for the young people today and how their mentality is. But the reason why I brought up hip hop is because music. I bring up music a lot because I feel like music influences a generation, right? Music is it's the theme song for music is theme for life.
Correct.
But today's hip hop is so focused on money that I feel like the young people today, to impress their fellow young person or to impress their girlfriend or whoever they're trying to impress, I feel like this whole NIL and the young black men and the elite players are black, right? So the young people are going to gravitate to this whole NIL. The way that they look at the NIL is going to be heavily influenced based on the music that they're listening to and based on today's hip hop. What is your thoughts on that?
I feel like hip hop plays a small fraction to that. I feel like social media. I actually had a conversation with a guy that's a financial advisor, and me and him was talking, and he was expressing to me that nowadays kids, they focus so much on their peers, people like just random people on social media. And he was explaining to me, he was like, when we were growing up, we had little money, but we had to really get out there and work for it, cut yards, wash cars, whatever we could do to make a little money. And we know that money wouldn't like a couple of $100 or something like that. Maybe, I know for me, I only can speak for me, it may be like $25 or $30. And nowadays kids can generate so much revenue with being a blogger or
social media is heavy.
Social media, and they becoming millionaires at such a young age. But the I feel like what I mean by hip hop coming into play, they see like they see what these celebrities have, but and they go out and they exhaust all their financial funds. But a lot of people in the industry, they don't realize that a lot of that stuff is given to them. A lot of that stuff is rented. A lot of that stuff is loaned out. Like, they'll be shocked that some people with financial literacy mindset, they'll stack their money. Some of them will go out and blow it. And I feel like social media is the kryptonite to these young people with a lot of money, because I feel like all it does is keep us with this NIL, and we kind of touched on it Friday, but I feel like that it doesn't do nothing but push the level up as far as consumers, keeping us at top of the chain as far as consumers. And I heard somebody mention something about finances, and I feel like finances tie into all that. If, unfortunately, I'm blessed to have both of my parents still married to this day in the household, and my dad preached financial literacy. That's why I'm in the position that I am in. So I understand the value of a dollar.
Okay.
And I just feel like some of the kids that has that big lump sum, and like you said, Harry, on Friday, they never seen it. So they just go out and blow it.
Right. And let me add this, because I worked in the industry, or I work in the industry, so people can understand. When you, let's take your favorite rapper. When you see them with those stacks of money, right? Either in the music video or you see them in the video, the stack of money is it's the new thing that the industry adapted, where in viral videos, people were responding. A lot of young people were responding to, I don't know who started the trend, but a lot of people started responding to rappers and people with stacks of money. So you'll see stacks of money on their arms and stuff like that. That money, or and then I'll add this, or you will see them in the club with a lot of money. That money has to be provided by your manager, or it has to be provided by somebody. So a rapper, and I know this from firsthand, I want you to know that this is from experience, okay? These are conversations, back end conversations that I know are happening, okay? Because I give some my clothing to a couple of rappers, all right? Some of the P Diddy rappers, Young M.A. So I've dressed a couple. I've put clothing on a few people, okay? So I know this for a fact. But anyway, so that money that you see, that money is given by somebody. If you want a rapper to come into your club and throw money, either you as the manager, or you as the promoter, you're gonna bring a bag of money. That rapper is not gonna be in that club without and throw money. That money is not their money that they're throwing. So please understand, young people, if anybody that's watching and understand how this stuff works, you want to throw money like that, that's not your money that you're throwing. Those rappers are not throwing their own money. Somebody's making that bag available. They're not going to the bank, taking out $200,000. Sometimes they do, but not for the reason that you think. They're not taking out $500,000 to go be holding it in their hand, all right? So understand that. And honestly speaking, the heck do Harry be talking about? Anyways, what I'm talking about is rappers having a lot of money and making it seem like on social media that that's their money. That stuff is not always their money. All right. It's not always their money. And I know that for a fact. I know that for myself. Ain't nobody had to tell me nothing. I work in the industry and I know how this stuff goes down. So that's for whoever kid is out there. All right. But at the end of the day, we come back to this college football talk. And now we're dealing with NIL. This NIL talk is going to get worse. It's going to get worse. But the question becomes is, how is it affecting Colorado? How is NIL affecting Colorado in that transfer portal? This is a question that I asked you guys earlier. Do y'all think that Colorado has players that are going for the bag? And at this point in the NIL game or in the transfer portal game, are there any more bag-worthy transfers that Colorado is going to be able to even acquire? Are there any more bag-worthy people in the transfer portal anywhere? And does Colorado even have any more bag-worthy people that they're going to get rid of? That's a question.
Some good people, but I'm wondering, why did you say that NIL is bad and it's going to get worse?
It's the idea of how the young men deal with NIL and their families and their handlers and those people that are around them. That's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
Or you could just set them up to be more strategically secured. Like, well, that's an option.
Isn't that the conversation that we're having? All of this help is around those young men at the school, but some of them opt not to take the help, or some of them are not mentally capable of even acknowledging the fact that the help is there and then going for the help. So now we're talking about a broader situation. You have irresponsible people around these people. There is help. There's financial literacy help that's there, but they're not going to be thinking about that. These young people and their young parents, sometimes young parents who don't understand money themselves, all of a sudden they get money. I can use my own family, for example. I have family members that are not financially literate. Let's just say one of their kids was good at football, and all of a sudden now they got hundreds of thousands of dollars being thrown at them. Would I advocate for this person to be the person that their child is talking to? Heck no, because I know my own family member. That's what I say is going to get worse. And we need to be having the conversation, the more responsible conversations. We need to be having these conversations about financial literacy. These shows, we need to deal with this.
That's where it should be.
Hey, Harry, I think that's one end of it. The other end of it that they said that it's going to get worse is because kids are going to be able to use the NIL money as leverage to get to go where they want to go and play at, or it's going to go to the highest bidder. Now, the ones that's
happening right now.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. And in any case, it's going to get worse. The other side of it, like you said, kids going to get all that money and they're not going to know what to do with it. You know, they're just like you say in the rap world. Guys that get $50,000, they'll give you $50,000. Dude, you got to pay that money back. They don't realize that. So you get out there, you throw it around $50,000. Hey, like you said, it ain't your money. You're going to have to pay that back. So with the NIL, I believe that the kid, we do need some type of financial literacy. That wasn't talked about in my household. I wish it had been more.
We don't talk enough about that. These shows that are all about the buffs, we all need to be having this conversation with these young people, because somebody, listen, if their parents are not capable of having that conversation with them, and which I know that there are parents that are irresponsible with money and they're pressuring some of these kids to jump into that portal. Hey, let's go get more money. Aunts and uncles that are the guardianship that can sign those papers, let's get into that transfer portal. So it's going to happen, but we all got to be responsible for this community. But how
Harry B, when I was in high school reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was getting Money magazine and this and that from the library, you know, my mother, bless her heart, rest in peace, she laughed at me like, "Oh, you planning on getting rich quick?" And I was like, "Not quick." That was always my response. I'd be reading something, she's like, what are you reading that for? This and that. And like, I'll tell you how to balance a checkbook. I was like, "Yeah, mama, but where that money come from that pays your check? I want to be the man on the other side, you know what I'm saying, of your paycheck." And she just looked at me, So again, like really, I just had to pull myself up by my bootstraps and then realize, dang, I don't have any boots. Harry B, pull myself up my bootstraps. I go buy a bootstrap. Then I realize, dang, I don't even have any boots.
Right.
I don't have any resources.
Your parent was laughing at you. Your own parent was laughing at you.
If I hadn't worked at the library while in high school, that was my resource for information. The librarian said, "Here, look at this, read that, use your resources. There's something else," and they'd be like, "Find it." And they made me find Rich Dad Poor Dad on my own.
And that's a good book too. I read that book too.
Yeah, it is.
So I had to do that personal finance and investment on my own. Scrape. Okay, I can get into this. I can get to this fund with $250. Okay, scrape. I got a bid up. Or I can get to this fund for $1,000. Scrape. Okay, I can get into this better fund with $5K. Scrape. People laughing at me. Look what you riding in. Look what you dress like. You know.
So that's the conversation. That's why I'm saying the conversation that we all need to have, and somebody's got to be talking to these kids. And Coach Prime is trying his best to have those conversations. And at the end of the day, you can't reach every kid. You can't, no matter how much you preach and you say, somebody's gonna fall through the cracks. I mean, we just had a situation during the season where kids were their diamond gold chains and the diamond rings and stuff like that were stolen. And come to find out, it was some high school kids that stole those diamond rings. So
right.
I mean, those
recruit UCLA like recruits.
Right.
And you know what?
Some recruits.
Hey,
go ahead, Tim.
What you said about you feel like NIL is going to be the downfall.
Not the downfall. No. No, not the downfall. I'm saying college football and NIL is going to get worse.
Oh yeah, and I agree. And I feel like is going to be the downfall of a lot of players in college football. And the reason why I say that is because everybody wants the hype. Everybody wants to be recognized. I feel like a lot of players not only come to see you for Coach Prime, I feel like a lot of them young people come there just to get a glimpse at Shador and Travis Hunter and Shiloh, some of the guys that's leading the NCAA with NIL money. And that all boils down to they see them on social media. They seeing him buy a $500,000 vehicle. They see Shiloh getting a X6 BMW delivered to on campus. They see that stuff. Young people are attracted to that.
But that's the whole hip hop conversation that I was having.
Exactly.
That's why I brought up the whole hip hop situation. When you see that in your favorite rapper, and that's all they're promoting. Like,
exactly.
If you listen to the albums, and that's all you see. That's all they're promoting. Like, no song on the daggone album talks about responsibility.
It's not like Common. Ain't no rappers out there speaking it like Common. But what I was gonna say was they see that, so they gravitate to have a desire to want that, but they don't know that Shiloh and Shador, they've been around big money all their life, so it's not new to them. Travis Hunter is just a man amongst boys, and I feel like he trusted Coach Prime when he made the decision to come to play for Jackson State. It wasn't only for just football. It wasn't only for just turning the young man into a grown man. It was about business as well. It was about financial literacy. He trusted Coach Prime with all those different decisions that can pour into his life to make him the successful young man that he is today. Being able to buy his mom a house in college. He putting his money towards something that's gonna make money. So if he can put his mom in a good position with a house, when he go to the pros, his mom may say, "Hey, I want to follow you, stay in the house for a couple of years, turn around and sell it, get the money out of that to put toward her other house."
And Harry B, if I may, let me blow everybody's mind real quick, right? Because with all this talk about the Sanders and even Travis Hunter, right? What they have clearly made the effort to let it be known, right? That they invest, right? And when they get a check, they never ever spend more than 10% of whatever comes in. So 10% goes aside for them to spend and splurge.
That's
You
big.
understand? So when Travis Hunter, not trying to put my hand in anybody's pocket, right? But him and his fiance, his future wife, they both got their heads tied on straight and super glued. Okay? They bought that house with surplus. It was not with principal. You understand what I'm saying to everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Hey, can I chime in on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So while I understand the sentiments, and I think this is like the fear mongering of like kids, or more so young Black kids, getting NIL deals and being able to have access to money and different capital and revenue, because unfortunately they've been screwing them over for the last like 30, 40, 50 years. So I just provided some data in the chat where if you look at the Sports Business Journal, it states that only about 17% of student athletes at Division I institutions participated in NIL activities. So
Come on
the
now.
majority, the vast majority isn't actually getting NIL deals, especially the lucrative ones. And then on top of that, if you look even further, it even goes a little bit, it dives a little bit deeper and says, what's the general average? The general average is about $1,300 for an NIL deal, and usually they're more local based than national based. So if you're more so being this critical about kids that's making like $1,300 extra, or whatever the case may be, compared to just looking at the anomalies, which will be the Shadors, the Travis Hunters, the Caleb Williams, those individuals, those are anomalies. They are not the general standard. They're not the general consensus. And it's a little crazy that we will sit up here and keep lambasting that kids are getting these NIL deals and they're going to mess things up. It's going to get worse. Like, how is it going to get worse? The only thing that is given them is the ability to make some money. Even when they just did this, what was it, the video game? How much did they get from that?
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, with $600.
Yeah,
Hey,
that wasn't even much.
We love data over here because facts are facts.
Hey, Rich.
Opinions are opinions, but data's data.
I got a little pushback to what you was talking about, Rich.
Yes, sir.
And I hope you don't take it the wrong way. And I agree with what you're saying, but I also have a disagree to what you're saying, because you got over 70% of African Americans that don't even have $1,000 in their savings accounts. Okay. That's facts.
You're right.
Okay. Now, you if you don't know how to invest that money, and what Harry B is talking about, we're talking about it so hopefully they may be listening, or somebody in their circle may be listening, to maybe open their mindset of how to invest, because us as Black folks, we're consumers. Yeah, we're at the top of the chain as far as consumers. Now, Caucasians, if they get that type of money,
my brother's country. He country. You could tell he said Caucasians.
Yeah, bro. I live in Texas, but I'm from Louisiana. But check this out, though. But what I'm saying is, the Caucasian, like they'll take that money, that NIL money, and they may sit on it, and they will invest it to the fact, so when they graduate out of high school, they can live off the interest alone.
You're right.
And that's what Harry's talking about, and what I'm talking about. Like, I want to see us get in a position to where we can live off interest. Yeah.
And then also, let me add this. Before you move forward, let me add this too. Yeah. This is why I'm saying it's important that we talk about this, because I think it's the mentality that the stat that you share, like on the screen, I just put only 17% of those students are, dealing with NIL activities, right?
Mhm.
But the 17% influences the rest of the percentages, and the 17% are the leaders, are those Travis Hunters, the Shadors. But a lot of the young people that are in school now, what they're going to do is they're going to see those guys that are the Travis Hunters, and their mentality is going to be that, let me go and go get my bag. Is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to, if anything, I don't want to discourage anybody to get their bag, because I think I've made several videos on this channel where I've talked about it. Now it's now time for these young people to get their bag. But this conversation has to be further. It got to move down the road where we start talking about financial literacy. Because like Tim is saying, bro, nobody tell. If Wild Dog's mom is telling him, what you think you about to do? That's what my mom would do too. Oh, you think you about to get rich? Right? So if our parents are laughing at us for reading financial literacy books, imagine what the young kid, their mom in the hood, you know what I'm saying, who hasn't seen much money, they get $1,300. What you think they're going to do with that $1,300? Or they're really good, or they're really, really good at sports, and they're no good with money, and somebody wants to offer them $300,000 to go and play at Auburn or to go play at one of these universities. What do you think the conversation that they're having with their parent, their irresponsible parent, what do you think that conversation is going to look like?
The majority of them don't have that reality. See, you going off of what their perception is, but they don't have that reality because they don't get the opportunity to have the $250,000 or $300,000 deals. They get the opportunity to get the $1,300 deals or the $5,000 deals at maximum. Right. So
but you're
their
talking
best
about the
interest,
regular player.
Yeah,
you're not
I'm talking about
the
rest of the 80. I'm talking about the other 83%, not the 17%, the other 83%. So the
right,
other
but we also got to address the 17% that may have irresponsible parents that don't know how to handle money. We can't leave them out. We cannot leave them out.
So if I was to give any type of information, right? If I was to, like, we know that we know Alto's mom, she listens in, and she specifically says she doesn't have a lot, like she didn't come up from having a lot of money and things like that. So that's understandable. So let's say if Alto ended up getting some extra, if he came into a NIL deal, this is what I would tell him, just from a person that worked 10 years in the banking system, from Fifth Third Bank, also in PNC Bank, from anti-money laundering, and I also invested in property. I just took from about $8,000 worth of investment and made it into $80,000 just over what I did as far as properties. The first thing I would do is, once you collect your money and you know that, because I know that they gonna want to go shopping, take your, like, let's say if you get $100,000, take about $1,500, $2,000 out of that, go shop and have some fun, do some, whatever the case may be, right? Then start looking at properties, start looking at areas that's starting to get built. Now, I'm not saying that you need to buy a house. I'm not saying that you need to do this, that, and the third. You can go and buy some vacant land. That's exactly what I did. I went and bought some vacant land, but I bought it in a nice area that wasn't too high as far as price, but it had a lot of attraction and a lot of things going on for it. So then I knew that there's going to be some business. There's going to be more coming here. So I know in the future, I'm going to be able to cash in on it, right? So I ended up spending a little bit of money off of that. Got like 5 properties for like $5,000. I got another property, a commercial property, for like, I put $2,500 down. I kept the taxes up, I kept the other stuff up, and that was pretty much it. Kept the zoning up. Now I'm about to sell it to the city for $80,000.
What's the profit?
Cashing out. So I'm going from, with the taxes and everything, I'm gonna make over $65,000.
Okay. What was the time span? What was the time span?
So the time span was just 3 years.
3 years.
And that was just from me spending a couple of $1,000s. That was just from holding on to that. But here's the bigger point. I still made a deal with the city where every house that's built, they also give me a percentage of the sale. Like I'll get like 10 or 12% of each house that's built, and when it's sold, I'll be able to cash in off of that as well. So there's certain different things that you can negotiate where I'm making a larger long-term play while I'm making a short-term play. So it's things like that where, yeah, you can definitely negotiate things like that for your benefit, where Alto is sitting up here doing his thing and making some money on. I mean, he doing his thing in the NFL, or he trying to do his thing at CU, but then he's also got an asset, and that asset ends up making him some money on long term. So those type of things like that, where you investing in you invested in property, you invested in certain bonds, you invested in certain things that's actually gaining traction, not those things that look trendy. Don't look for trendy stuff. Look for stuff that's consistent and has sustainability. So stuff like that, I would tell her, be like, hey, you in Texas, y'all got a booming economy out there. Look for some land, look for some property, look for some things that you can do and make it happen. But you could definitely just do something smooth.
Yeah, or put in a high stakes value savings account and just draw interest off of that.
You could, but it's not enough. You don't make enough money off of it. It's usually you making like let's say how much, because you usually not making more than a couple percent.
Well, that's for
so let me
go ahead.
Let me ask a question. So cool Rich. So do you see why I talk about this? Because if I don't say anything, you don't come up with that, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's the whole point. That is the point. Is
I'll give
somebody
you this.
has to talk about it. Somebody has to start a conversation, and we have to give both sides of the conversation. We have to say what was detrimental. We have to, then we go into, then we don't stop there, right? We don't disparage and then stop there. Then we go into ideas like you just said. That's why I bring up these conversations. So if somebody tells me, hey, why you talking about X, Y, and Z? This is not a football conversation. I say, I talk about it because we have a responsibility as a community, not to just have these shows where people are we're just grabbing views, but we talk about something that's substantive, right?
Yeah.
You just give an example of what they could do with their money. Where would they hear that from if nobody brings this conversation up? You feel me?
Indeed. Even though I understand that you kind of using a salacious way of using hip hop as your way to do it, to say like they're giving misrepresentation. So yeah,
as a hip
hop was brought up because I feel like music
putting hip hop on the cross for it. I feel it.
Hip hop has to be a percentage because music as a whole influences our lives.
Yeah,
on a very big scale.
Right here, B. And
music, and what? Hold up. Let me finish this. And
sorry.
What type of music? Which genre of music do young people listen to the most? It's hip hop, right?
It's hip hop.
Right. So if that's the fact, right? If that is the data and that's facts, then if that's the case, then we have to make sure that the kind of music that they're listening to, everybody know about D1 at this point, right? And what D1 has been talking about. Somebody has to be responsible enough to tell these old men who are still beefing with each other. These dudes are 35, 40 years old, and they're still beefing. It's irresponsible. But anyways, these guys are stuck on telling you about how much money they got. But when you listen to hip hop as a general music genre doesn't really tell you about financial literacy. So if we have a vehicle that's in our community that's influencing these kids, and all they're getting is how much money they should get, how much they should stay on go after the bag, then that's going to eventually influence the kids that are coming to these universities to coach prime.
Okay, so that takes me back to my early.
Shout out to Wild Dog about that comment too, because that's a good comment about the index funds that he took that 6K and turned it at 80K. Because usually you got an average return at about 10 to 12% on the index fund because it's usually safer and consistent. So for you to make 80K off of that, that's crispy.
That's crispy. Salute, Wild Dog.
Yeah.
So Wild Dog, you were gonna speak. Go ahead, say it, and then Cool Rich can talk. Go ahead, Wild Dog.
I just wanted to rebuttal real quick, kind of reset things like with something I brought up before, right? This was in high school, right? I needed transportation. The star quarterback needed transportation. I was given a bicycle, right? and the star quarterback was given the Honda Civic with the 12-inch booming speakers in the back. He would rap, and I would beatbox, or somebody else would beatbox, and I would dance. Right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the culture, we're in depth in it. I come in the 90s when it really made its hard push and some of its transitions. But just want to reset a little bit when it comes to these athletes, you know what I'm saying, and resources and what's being provided. My need with my bicycle was met the same as my star quarterback getting that fully loaded Honda Civic with the 12-inch booming speakers in the back.
That's
wow.
funny.
So
can y'all hear me?
So that's the point that I'm the point that I'm trying to make is what. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
The point that I'm trying to make is the influence of the music. What's influencing? What is the number one influence things that influences our young people? The number one thing that influences our young people is number one, music. And then probably I would say then social media. When you go on social media, what comes across your social media for the most part is the music and then dances. So if all of these are the things that are influencing our young people, then guess what? When they're making decisions, they're going to make decisions based on what's their number one influence. The number one vehicle of influence is going to be that music. I'm not saying we take 100% of the blame and put it on hip hop. I'm just saying we got to make sure that we understand that we got to hold accountable the people that are influencing our young people. We got to hold them at a higher. They got to be accountable for that. Hey man, you're influencing my kid. You the DJ. Hey, Charlemagne the God. You got to stop playing that song. Maybe mix in every now and then. Mix in a song that talks about financial literacy. Mix in a song that talks about religion. Mix in a song that tells us our young people that they need to be more responsible.
Don't nobody want to hear that, bro.
Yeah, they want to hear that stuff, man.
In our time, E40 said what? E40 said what?
Wild Dog, we're all talking at the same time. We can't all talk at the same time. So let me get Willie because he hasn't talked in a while. Willie, you go first, and then Wild Dog.
Because that's like what you told me, man. That's soft talk. You know, that's the warm and fuzzy stuff. They want to hear what's going to sell. You know, so it is. You know, it is what it is. And the thing about that, I'm thinking they'll take some of the music that I grew up with on my parents. It's not a bad thing. They'll take that and they'll sample that and put it in their new mix for today. So there a lot of it, some of it is creative in the other, but they're borrowing from the old and mixing it in with the new. So, which I have no qualm about that whatsoever. But it is an influence on some of our kids today. Is it positive? Yes. Is it negative? Yes. Or most of it is and everything. What I'm looking at though, what I'm also thinking about is
try to cut it down to 30 seconds, guys, because we're going too long.
Okay,
make the point in 30 seconds.
Okay, here's what I was thinking about. How many of our kids that are in the portal today was offered some kind of bag? Are they leaving because of a bag, or are they leaving just because they're disgruntled?
Well, I mean, you're throwing up a different question. Let me get Wild Dog to speak on this issue first, and then we can pivot from that conversation. But that'll take us into a different conversation. But go ahead, Wild Dog.
So I just wanted to double down on my belief that real life has a greater influence on art. And then I'm almost about to get my point. No, peer pressure. Peer pressure influences reality. What goes on out there when the elders aren't around. Peer pressure and social media. Peer pressure is a function of the music, and everything else. So peer pressure. So you got two young people left out there. What's going to happen? And what's that movie? I mentioned Tarzan. What's that other movie? Was it Lord of the Flies? With Leonardo DiCaprio, with all the young people on the island left to their own devices. And what was the result? So there's been real life examples and artistic examples of when you leave young people to their own faculties within themselves dealing with peer pressure. What's the result? I feel that's the core of it.
All right, cool, Rich. What you want to add to that?
My fault, man. I ended up more. Somebody hit me. Business situation just had.
Oh, let's get Tim then. Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead, Tim. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? And then we'll go to see you above Dynasty.
Can you repeat that, because I was in chatting with Cool Rich, but what was the topic again that you were just touching?
Oh no, so basically, so Wild Dog is rebutting, saying that it's not the music, it's mostly peer pressure. So if it's peer pressure, it's not necessarily the music. But I mean, the way I look at it, I think that's symptomatic of other things, not just peer pressure, because peer pressure is a symptom of something, right?
Yes.
So that's my thought about it.
I think it's hip hop, man. Now that you stated it like that, I mean, because everything stems around hip hop. All the young rappers and artists that's out there right now, and within the last, I say, 10 years, like that's all these kids try to imitate. They want what they have, but they don't know how to work it to get it. I feel like they don't know how to work to get it. But you got some out here that I guess I can use Jordan Seaton a little bit. I really don't I hate to use the players, but like, he got some money. So, he went, he out shopping with Shador, and I throw in Travis. Travis ain't out there shopping with Shador and buying chains. You know what I mean? If he making $1 million and I'm only making 200,000, I can't be shopping at the places that you shopping at, because if you spend 200,000 and I'm out there trying to keep up with you, then I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing after we finish shopping, because I didn't spend my last trying to keep up with your status. You know what I mean? I can't shop on your level. Let's go to the second floor where H&M and some of these other stores. I can't stop at Louis and Prada and Chanel and Dior. You dig what I'm saying? So let's go to the Parks Mall, Wild Dog.
So, okay, let me get See You Buff Dynasty in here. See You Buff Dynasty, are you up? You ready?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask a question. This might not be on topic. How good is it really when you get this NIL money and let's say you go buy your mom a house? Is that a good thing or a bad thing when 6 times out of 10 that parent don't even know how to pay rent on time in an apartment? So how good, like, you know what I mean? Because I don't think we run out of.
You better make sure you better make sure all the taxes, everything that comes with that house, you better make sure you put that on there too.
Like, do we? It's
you're gonna upset Cool Rich because he's a proponent.
It's Travis's house. His mother lives in it.
No. I'm not saying Travis. I'm pretty sure Travis has his entire business taken care of because he listens to Prime, and maybe he got some other good people in his circle. So
his fiance has a godfather who played for the NFL, so she got her own money.
Yeah, I'm not specifically mentioning him. I'm just saying, tons of the other kids.
That's a good question. I think that's a good question, and I want to hear what Cool Rich has to say, because he is a proponent of this conversation that we're having and saying, hey, let's not vilify the kids for getting money, but let's make sure that we're giving them advice. So, hey, listen, the way I look at it, I think you're right, where we need to understand if you give your mom, okay, I'll put it this way. have you guys seen some videos online? It could be shorts, right? Where some people say do not put your if you're gonna leave a house to anyone, do not put it in your kid's name, because you'll be doing them a disservice. Because people think like, oh, let me give my house to my kids. They said do not do that because it'll be financially detrimental to them. It's the same idea. So if you're like a Travis Hunter who probably understands money a lot way better than a lot of those kids on the team, then you're good. Then maybe you have some things in play that will help that person. But like see you Buff Dynasty is saying, I don't know how many of you guys own a house, or I'm a landlord, or even being a landlord, or understanding taxes on a house.
Send me
If mom and then where I live at, with the city and where I live at, I don't live in Brooklyn anymore, but where I live at, the taxes where I live, sometimes it's way more than the payments, right? So are we going to be giving the house to mom where the taxes are already paid, everything is paid, or are we just buying the house? Are we even buying it on cash, or are we buying it where she has a mortgage? See, all of these things have to be discussed.
That's what I was saying. I was thinking if he bought it cash and had it set up to where he know he's about to go to the NFL, as long as he stay healthy, or nothing happens dramatic, but he could pay cash for the house and have everything else set up to come out of his money. The taxes, well, a lot of people fall short at. They want to pay taxes at the end of the year. And they can't, and they don't even know how to save money. They're not disciplined enough to save money. So when the new year come around, they asking them for $7,000 or something, then they just standing there. Now they about to lose their home. So if he got it broken up maybe quarterly or something like that, or however he has his business structured to pay the taxes, the HOA, mud taxes, if they even have those up there in Colorado, insurance and all that stuff, so his mom don't have to worry about it. All she got to do is live day to day.
All right, cool, Rich. Let me hear your thoughts. It could be contrary to what we're saying.
Nah, look, I understand. It is it's something that definitely has to be taught. You want to definitely, if you're getting someone in the house or anything like that, or if you're putting them in that position, you definitely want to make sure that they are well equipped on the information to be able to sustain and keep the house in, high regard. But I ain't gonna lie, I have seen a lot of people lose their house for not paying taxes and stuff. So when you were saying that, like, I'm like, yeah. And then right now, the way that these insurance prices is fluctuating, like them been going up, taxes been going up, people been paying astronomical prices for these houses, so they don't need. Oh my God, it's like crazy ridiculous. But I would just say, like, that's why I said that if you did vacant land, that's why I was saying, like, if you're in the area where they're already doing some building, you could pretty much just pro up from that, where you are paying pretty low taxes because there's no building structure on it. So it actually kind of alleviates that situation from happening. And then you don't have to pay a lot of those additional fees. A lot of times you just have to make sure that the grass is cut and that there's no trash in the yard, and you pretty much straight. But that's just making sure that you invest in an area that got traction. Outside of that, yeah, when you got a house, you need to make sure that you're doing all your due diligence. Please make sure you're doing all your due diligence, because if you don't,
cutting the grass, you got to make sure that you keep up the house, because then the association can come up in there and be like, "Yo, what's happening?" So if you don't have,
put a lien on your house.
Is important, right? Education is important. So all of these conversations are important conversations that nobody wants to hear. Like Tennis Channel said, that's the boring stuff. So when we say, "Hey, let's hold our musicians accountable," let's make sure that the information that they're feeding our children every single day when they put out a new album, go cop my album, go do this, go listen to it on Spotify, go listen to it on Apple Music. Why should they tell me why? Like, we should interview these people and say, tell me why my child should listen to your nonsense when all you're talking about is money, 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 girls, money, more cars, more bling. Why should my child
they don't have to
listen to that?
And then speaking to that, when when the rubber meets the road, we're gonna take let's use Young Jeezy as an example, who ran large numbers of our generation down to the gutter and selling drugs mentality. He don't even teach his kid that. He got his kid in school straight A, going to college and everything. So he's promoting the lifestyle.
100%.
The lifestyle to our children, but then he's handling his child a whole different kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So,
Beyonce singing about all the single ladies. Yeah, she stayed with her man.
right?
Didn't we watch CB4?
See what I'm
We
saying?
all saw CB4.
I saw CB. You talking about with what's the
Chris Rock.
I saw CB4. Yeah, Chris Rock.
Yeah. Like, why don't look, bro? We know that stuff not real. Like, why do we sit up here and keep acting like this stuff is real? We know that the kids know that that's not real. We know it's not
Miss
real.
Monica, how you doing?
People just don't care. Like, they just want to do stuff because it looks entertaining for the gram. It looks good for the gram. That's all it is.
Say something is the problem. Why I say that when this culture, why I say that when you say something's the problem, but then when other cultures are winning, like when other cultures are winning because of their responsibility, and then we look at them and we want to blame other people. But when somebody sits here and say, hey, these are the steps we need to take to get to move our culture forward, to stop, putting out cancerous stuff in our community. People blame us for talking about that.
Because we complain without action. We complain a lot without action and anything to supplement what we're talking about. And that's what they want to see. They want us to show and prove. Yeah, like we need to show and prove. Like if we sitting up here saying, oh yeah, you need to go ahead and invest your money like this, or if you doing that, all right, they're gonna look at us and be like, all right, did you do that? And if we didn't, or if we don't got nothing to show for it, then we just bloviate. We just talking. We just talking because we got air. And that's a lot of times what they end up seeing. They seeing us just talk because we got breath in our body, opposed to actually showing something that's concrete and tangible to be like, you know what? Yeah, you need to get an apartment building when you got this $300,000 or whatever the case may be. All right, dude, do you got an apartment building? You've been working for 10 years. Do you got an apartment building yet? You ain't built up enough up in your 401k to be able to borrow against that and then be able to buy yourself an apartment building or a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex or something like that? Or is you just gonna keep telling me what I need to do? Like, don't just tell me what I need to do. Show me from your own action.
Yo, think about it, man. Like, okay, so we got the elite players, the 17%, right, who are going to get the big bag, right? We got that 17% that's going to get that big bag. So what is the conversation that the 17% needs to be having with their people, with their family members? If you are the 17% and you are the ones that's getting the bigger bag, we need to make sure that those 17% understand money management. We need to make sure, because they're going to influence, those 17% are going to influence the next guys coming up, because there are kids that are in high school that are thinking, hey, how do I get the bag? How do I get to the bag? So if you are a kid and you are elite and you're listening, please, even if you get $100,000 after you pay taxes, I don't know what the taxes are on $100,000 or how they're dealing with. Maybe Miss Monica is here. I don't know if Miss Monica is can help us out tonight. What type of taxes are these kids paying on the NIL money that they're getting, or that what type of taxes are they requiring, or the government's requiring? So when these kids actually get this money, when you get when you get $100,000 or $200,000, you don't go buy a gold necklace, or, you know what I'm saying? And then we don't even talk about the fact that they have that desire to have the gold necklace because their friends have it.
But it's tax deductible, bro. That's costume.
It's like is it like a luxury tax?
Yeah, that's costume. Like they can literally write that stuff off. So stuff like that. That's why I'm saying
know that, bro.
No, you have to know that.
Know that.
Okay, yeah.
You said, do they what?
Do they know that?
At CU, they do because they get financial education and financial advisors.
Yeah, like shoot, if I know that and I don't have a bling bling chain or nothing like that, I don't care for that. Like I care about, my assets in a different way. But
and then if you put insurance on that, can you deduct that from that insurance like you do life insurance? Is that anybody knows about insurance on here?
Yeah, you put it on your house insurance.
You put the bling on your house insurance, you're saying?
Correct.
100%.
So
or your renters.
Yeah.
But what if you don't have a house? What if you don't have a house?
Or your renter's insurance.
You put on your renter's insurance.
Yeah, even if you got an apartment, you should have renter's insurance.
All right, so you're saying that if a kid had one of these chains and theirs is real, mine's fake.
If you got an appraised chain and that mug gets snatched off your neck, if you get beat on and somebody end up snatching that mug off your neck, you file a police report and you end up showing that you got something that's tangible that shows
Remember,
that.
hip hop says no snitching.
Nobody care nothing about that. They be still telling them that. That's how they can file their insurance claim. Otherwise, you can't file your insurance claim. You gotta have
hip hop tells us no snitching, so that goes out the window because we listen to hip hop because it's irresponsible.
Bro, at which point do you ever watch the police? They tell you that everybody be snitching. Everybody.
I know that. I know that. I know that for sure. But come on now. But what does hip hop preach?
It sounds good, bro. I'm telling you,
irresponsible stuff.
I swear, it just sound good.
And then just as a reminder, Harry, I want to hit the reset button a little bit. The Sanders family has arranged that jeweler is a sponsor.
Yeah.
So when Seaton got his chain, that's part of the sponsorship. Come on now.
And you don't think that they got them set up as businesses? Like, so
exactly.
That way they get the lowest part of the taxes opposed to them having to pay 25% or whatever the case may be based upon them actually being counted as wages. It'll be counted as business revenue. So that way they'll only have to pay like 12%.
And it's all legal.
And you get all the tax deductions and stuff, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, the Todd jeweler, they sitting out there giving their iced out logo to everybody.
Hey, and then they flew the jeweler out, so you know that they had to write that off.
Come on, let's get real with it. And
then they put
like somebody put in the chat. Like somebody put in the chat, oh, Coach Prime is not a head coach, he's an entrepreneur. God first, business second. Get real with it.
Man, I don't know what they thought, but they thought wrong.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
Those type of things I don't understand, because at the end of the day, man, like two things can be right at the same time. You can coach, you can do business, you can do a lot of things all at once. And if you have the opportunity to align your business with the university where they're carrying your logo, where no coaches have ever come up with their own logo, where the university can promote their own logo with the university, like. Yeah. If you don't know how to, if you can't give Coach Prime his props for that alone, come on,
Instagram
man.
names on the back of the jerseys. What?
Yeah. Bro, I'm telling you, bro.
Never been done before.
It's been done before. That part has been done before. But I'm just saying, name how many coaches that have been in the college football who have aligned their own personal brand with the university and been able to actually get the university to promote their personal brand. Name a coach.
Saban.
I would like to know.
Saban.
What is Nick Saban's brand?
What is his brand?
What was his brand?
Nick Saban owns a bunch of Mercedes dealerships.
No. What is his brand though?
What was the brand that the university aligned that was aligned with Alabama, that we can say this brand was promoted by Alabama? Which brand?
If he has Mercedes dealerships and it's Nick Saban's Mercedes dealership, then his name can be on brand.
Yeah.
Where on CU, where on Alabama's shirt or logo?
It's not.
Okay. So that's the whole point. That's the point I'm making.
Isn't that called co-branding?
Yeah, like because you like when you go if you go to the Alabama Stadium, you'll actually see Mercedes-Benz and you'll see Saban Mercedes-Benz. So you'll see his branding around there as well.
But
You're
that's
not getting the
Mercedes-Benz.
That's
That's not
still
but
Prime.
it's Saban's Mercedes-Benz.
No,
If it was
Well,
if
yeah,
it
but
was a
he's
different
promoting his car
Mercedes-Benz, it would be
dealership.
different.
no, that's his dealership. That's not his brand. He's
Right.
working
He's
under
promoting.
Mercedes brand.
He's promoting his
Yeah.
car dealership.
Right.
He's not promoting his personal brand. We're
Right.
talking about Prime. And when you see CU, you see Rick
Oh,
George
don't nobody
wearing
else
a.
have the brand that Prime got though.
But
No one else
that's
has
my
that.
point.
Well-off media,
That is the
right?
point I'm trying
That's
to
not-
make.
that's
I'm
not-
trying to.
Right.
I could take a raincoat and lease the Prime brand and put it on my raincoat. I can pay the merchandise leasing and put Prime's brand on my raincoat. That's the difference.
Oh,
That is
What do you-
true. That's a true
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah, I feel you.
okay.
Prime's logo, and CU logo are almost synonymous right now. There's no other coach that I know in college football history that has had their
I
own
ain't gonna
personal
agree with
brand. What's that?
I ain't gonna agree with that one.
Well, when
Prime
you
got
see
his own
Prime,
shoe. Prime got his own
But
shoe.
listen.
Do CU got their own shoe?
no, listen. When you see Prime, when you see CU shirts that says Prime,
Yeah.
that's the branding. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you see CU Prime, you see CU Prime all over the place. I'm
Right.
saying there's no other coach in the history of college football from a business standpoint. If you are a business mind, right, and you turn your nose up on that, I'm just talking right now. I'm talking to the chat. If you're a business person and you turn your nose up on that, then that means you don't understand business and you don't understand not a word that we've been talking to this entire time. That's to that person to understand. If you get an opportunity to align the company that you work with, let's say you work with JP Morgan Chase, you work with any company, right? And that company gave you an opportunity to align your personal brand. Let's say I have So African Clothing, right? And I worked at B&H. It's a Jewish company. And B&H just loves me so much. My name being associated, So African Clothing associated with B&H. That would never, ever happen in the history of life. But I'm just saying, the person that can turn their nose up on the fact that their personal brand could be associated with the company that they work with is saying that's a bad thing.
They
That's
crazy.
a person that does not understand business.
That's free marketing.
Yeah.
That is free marketing. And you don't get that. Nobody gets that. Nobody has the opportunity to align their personal brand with the company that they work for, to align their personal brand with that company.
And what's CU's personal brand? That doggone buffalo.
That buffalo.
That buffalo.
That
that's
logo.
the brand. That logo.
Right.
Yes, the buffalo.
That's the logo. Go to your company tomorrow. If you have a job, go to your company tomorrow. Take your personal brand and go ask your company, can they make T-shirts with your brand on their T-shirts?
They're gonna
And
say
see how that go for you.
Okay.
like on that first lip in the corner.
So
anyways,
with
guys,
all of that,
so tonight I say that to talk to some of those people who just don't get business, and they don't know how to separate the fact that Coach Prime is a businessman and he's a coach at the same time. You can be a lot of things. You can do a lot of things. So it's okay if your personal coach or your favorite coach just don't have that clout. If your coach don't have that, you can't be mad at Prime for having that, because it doesn't happen often. A coach is just excited just to be coaching at Alabama. You think when Deborah went to Alabama, you think he was going to be asking for any favors? He's just excited just to be at Alabama, just to follow Nick Saban. He ain't going to be in no board meeting talking about, I need this shirt to say Prime on there. Come on now. What are you talking about, man? You're not ready for that.
And you know what, Harry? We have to ask the question, how many colleges or university in the United States will allow Prime to do that? I bet the number is very little, if any,
Very little.
that will allow him to do what he's done.
Right. That's why I think that's why Prime chose CU. I think that
or how many schools are going to allow students, like the players, to sell their merch on campus?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Aligning your personal brand with the university. It doesn't happen, guys, because the schools spend a lot of money to make sure to promote their brand, and you don't get personal brands to be aligned with universities. It's just not a thing. People should be celebrating that more so than talking against that, because this is a guy like who said it earlier that these students are. I think it was Cool Rich who said they're gonna miss it once it's all said and done. I think we're gonna be talking about this. The fact that Coach Prime was able to do that. When Coach Prime is not coaching anymore, we're gonna be talking about this, because it's not something that is rare. It's an anomaly. It's something that's crazy. Never happens where a personal brand can be associated with the logo of a university.
All
Hey,
right,
did y'all see the
Hey, Harry, I had a little pushback on what y'all was talking about if what other school would allow Coach Prime to come in and bring his brand and put it on. Affiliated with the brand that they already have at that university.
All right, so push back, and then we got to get final thoughts. The show, we're done.
I would bet money, and I'm not a gambling person, but I would bet money that when you're talking business, someone that has a global business to bring it to generate, to take your revenue at like 1.5 to turn it into 3.5 just by adding your brand to it. I think Alabama would take him up on that deal because they have more than just football at those schools.
Absolutely.
No way.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So if you got one,
doubt
okay,
it.
that's one. That's one.
I would disagree that Alabama.
I disagree with that.
I doubt that Alabama would be a school that will allow to. Alabama is way too big to. I don't know.
Right.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Think about business.
Nothing-
Don't think about the school.
I get it. I mean, I get it. I understand the business aspect, but when you think about the brand, the Alabama brand, and how it's been in the national conversation forever, it's just hard for brands that have been in the national conversation, for their provost and all of the people that are aligned, that are on those boards, to allow one brand to come in and be associated with that brand. It's just not something that is plausible. I can't. My brain would not even allow me to even go there for a second. Think about Georgia, Alabama.
Nick Saban was the brand, so now Nick Saban is out. Let's see what this new coach is gonna, how his branding is gonna generate the same type of money that Nick Saban did over the course of the next 3 years.
Nick Saban never had a brand there. There's no brand that Nick Saban had. He had car dealerships. There's no brand.
Let me push back on that. But Nick Saban was not the brand. The brand was Alabama. Nick Saban was operating under the brand of Alabama. Now that Nick Saban is gone, Alabama is still Alabama.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's all about the A. Nothing will never get bigger than the A.
Right. Nothing can align with the brand, but you can associate. Like I'm telling you, you can make the argument that the word prime, can be associated with CU. Right now, it really can, because you look at the merchandise. You see Prime, you see CU. So, but you don't see that. You will not see that anywhere else. And I don't know that Alabama will allow Coach Prime to do the same thing. It's just, I don't know that will ever happen. But again, Coach Prime likes to solve problems, and I don't think Alabama will become a problem for a long time unless DeBoer he just thinks up the place. But Alabama was not a problem that Coach Prime could solve, because they're a legacy university. Their legacy is too strong right now, and they're going to be recruiting for the next 100 years. Top 4 stars, 5 stars. But let's start with Wild Dog. Wild Dog, we were all over the map tonight. We talked a lot of financial responsibility. Somebody in the chat said, "Hey, Harry B, why don't you have a show that talks about NIL and financial literacy and stuff like that?" I would, but nobody will watch and listen, because that's the boring stuff in our community that nobody wants to talk about. So I would just be here. I would be here by myself. Do y'all notice that when we started talking about that stuff, we went down to 25 viewers? Did y'all notice that?
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah. So imagine that. All right, Wild Dogs. I love talking about this type of stuff because I like helping my community, but I can't do it to my own detriment and go broke and not feed my family. So imagine that. Just imagine that conversation. Just let that sink into your brain. Who is
Sound
willing?
like the rappers.
Who is willing? That's true. Who's willing to go down for their community? I think I am, but I don't know. Wild Dog, your final thoughts, brother.
Well, that's the thing, Harry B. You're working out your niche, and it may just take folks a little bit longer to find you and settle in with you, and look at the whole landscape of skull buff, landscape on YouTube and whatnot. But you meet subjects head on, and you're not afraid to talk about the nuances, especially things that people like to ignore. But facts are facts and data is data. And though everything we covered today, all the different types of resources and issues and circumstances, it all leads back to the truth as to why players should, stay at CU, why players in the portal should come to CU, and perhaps why the fallout of those who find themselves in the portal leaving CU. We met it head on and then covered all the nuances and based on human nature, society, and the culture that all affects us, our human experience. And the players are human, the coaching staff is human. It's all relevant. It's all relevant to the subject. And that's what I believe. I'll stand on it. I'll stand on business. I'm with you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Is it true what the basement is saying? The offensive lineman Isaiah Jada is entering the transfer portal. Can anybody let me know real quick before we leave? Before we go to the next guy? Can anybody corroborate that story? We're not true journalists, but at least we like to be truthful around here.
Let me look.
Hey, Harry B. The portal window is open for what? A good what?
It's true.
It's going to be open for what? A week and a half, or
Oh, this is breaking news. Isaiah Jada is entering the transfer portal.
Isaiah Jada.
He's a lineman.
Breaking news, guys.
JUCO.
He's an offensive lineman. He's entering the transfer portal. So let's go ahead and get that out real quick, guys, before I go to the next guy, and then we'll end the show. So just give me 1 second, guys.
Makes you wonder how banged up he was. We had a lot of injuries with the line last year. Undersized and overmatched, it just fell apart.
So anybody knows about Isaiah Jada's production last year? Anybody want to speak on this so that we make sure that we get this in on the fair?
He got in a couple games. He was the open door to the quarterback.
If he's going to the portal,
he should have.
Okay.
I'm just keeping it real, making it as simple as possible. Keeping it real, making it simple.
If it was any other team, it wouldn't be news. If it was any other team, it wouldn't be news.
Right.
Isaiah Jada, we wish you well, brother. We wish you and your family well.
It goes back to the question I asked.
But you know why it's making news is because that's an offensive lineman, and that's our number one area of need. So if you got an offensive lineman that's leaving, that's breaking news. I mean, let's just be fair to everybody that's out there that's reporting this stuff.
Well, what's the number one area of needed upgrades? So you bring in all these upgrades.
Well,
room for everybody.
We understand that offensive lineman was the number one need for Colorado. For Colorado, right? But that was funny. You said
Jada is not.
You said he
Jada
was
not going to be in. He was not going to be in the two.
He was a warm body. He was a warm body. We don't need warm bodies. We had to upgrades. Harry B.
So my question.
We need starters.
Gentlemen, my question is, what's in the bag for him? So he's got to be leaving for a bag.
Hold on. Question real quick. Let me get this on tape, guys. Hold everybody, stop talking. Let me get this on tape. For the video. Breaking Colorado offensive tackle Isaiah Jada plans to enter the transfer portal. He tells On 3 Sports. The 6'6", 320-pound offensive tackle appeared in 11 games for the Buffaloes in 2023, was named a 2022 NJCAA football first-team All-American, will have 1 year of eligibility remaining. All right, y'all can have at it. Go. It's on tape.
Yeah, he came from JUCO. Like you said,
size ain't everything. Stay soft marshmallow.
Played about 11 games last year. Just didn't cut it, man. I mean, I'm not going down the kid, but he just didn't cut it.
Was he on the left side?
He was outside of the 2 deep rotation. So
that's Jordan Seaton's position. So Jordan Seaton ate his lunch. Is that what we're saying? Jordan Seaton ate lunch.
He didn't have anything.
He took his lunch. He took his cornbread.
Yeah, he didn't have.
He took his cornbread. What did
you gonna eat your cornbread? You gonna eat your cornbred, dog?
The best for him.
Oh no, that's a prison. That's a prison analogy. You gonna eat that cornbread? wait, what are we doing?
If he wants to play, and get on the field, I'm assuming he has to go down to G5. If not G5, D2 HBCU ball.
Hey, San Diego State is hiring.
Well, maybe San Diego State, but
okay. So are we saying that we were not bullish on Isaiah Jada?
No, we're not. We weren't. I don't think anybody.
He should have exited with Sean Lewis.
So wait, so we got Jordan Seaton. Can we say quickly what the who the tackles are? We got Jordan Seaton, who's probably going to be left tackle. We know that's for sure, right? Who's the other tackle that we're bullish on?
Behind him would be
because I think Justin Mayers is a guard, right? He's not a tackle.
It's kind of hard to name all these guys because a lot of them are interchangeable as far as positions is concerned.
It's shaking up, Harry, because first team had played musical chairs a little bit.
Right.
First year had Tyler Johnson go down at the moment.
So he's got to work his.
Let me get this in, guys, real quick, because I had asked Miss Monica earlier. This is Alto's mom. I had asked her earlier if she can help us to understand what are the taxes that the. Hold on, who's that? Can you guys mute, please, if you can? So I had asked her earlier to help us out. What type of taxes are applied to the NIL deals? She says, "Hey Harry, I'm listening in delay. I was driving. There are taxes about at 45 to 55% tax rate of their earnings. They can have deductions as well to lower their liability." So the 45 to 55% tax. That's half of it. So the NIL money that these young men are getting, the government is taking half of that. So $1,300. Now you're down to what? $450 or $500? Is that my math? Is that math correct? Nobody knows math on this panel. What is going on right now?
I think about what, 650?
650, right?
650, something like that.
So the government is taking more than half. It's almost like the lottery.
Yeah, that ain't.
It's
nothing.
pretty much like it's a lottery tax, basically. Wow. Yo, that's crazy.
That right there should clearly make you want to invest.
Right. We gotta get Miss Monica when she has the opportunity. We gotta get her on the show, on the panel one time, one day, so that
you gotta mitigate your liabilities. That's for sure.
She said it depends on the amount they earn. Anything over 6 figures will get taxed at that rate. All right, Miss Monica, thank you so much for adding that to the chat, to the conversation. Every now and then, listen, man. Every now and then, I'm gonna have these conversations. Whether it's hard for us to have, I'm gonna lose viewers and stuff like that. Nobody's interested in the hard conversations, but we will keep trying. We'll keep chipping away until we get a big audience that understands and appreciates this type of conversation. But tonight's show was full of meat, man. So, Cool Rich, what is your final thoughts on tonight's show, brother? Please give us your final thoughts.
I thought the tonight's show was great. I hope that, instead of using hip hop as a scapegoat for the information, we'll be able to figure out different ways to make it entertaining. Yeah, because I mean, shoot, at the end of the day, I get it. The main thing is to edutain. You're trying to educate, but you're also trying to entertain as well. So that way it's still beneficial. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is what sells, and people love controversy. That's why they sit up here and do a bunch of reckless stuff. But hey, man, I definitely appreciate y'all for having me back up.
For sure. All right, Tim, what is your final thoughts? Ms. Monica says these conversations are important to have. Parents have to get knowledge. They don't have to pass along to their children, student athletes. All right, go ahead, Tim. What are your final thoughts, brother?
Another great show, man. I enjoyed the panel and they their takes and outlooks on everything. I guess for me, man, for the players and leaving CU, wanting to hit that transfer portal, and not only just CU, other programs as well. Like, I guess I would say to them, you know, don't think that the grass is always green on the other side. You know, don't uproot yourself from somewhere that you feel like you can evolve as a man in life, and just to plant yourself somewhere that's not on good soil. As far as the financial part of it, I think that's something that these young men need to hear. You may not be able to get everybody, but I'll take 1 out of 10. You know, that really, you know what, hey man, let me look more into my finances. Let me learn the value of a dollar. You know, let me surround myself around some people who's making moves and doubling their money. Because like I stated earlier, you know, if I can get a lump sum of money like that, like these young kids when I was in college, you know, with having my parents, I'll be in a position to live off interest. And it's nothing like living off interest and you ain't got to worry about the rest of your money just sitting there in the bank, because you are going to get old one day.
You know, do you know also outside of the NIL situation, do you know also lump sum that kids get is financial aid refunds? I used to get those too. I never invested. So let me just be truthful. But let me just make that point to any students out there. When you get your financial aid refund, please think about investing, because that's another thing. I got a lot of those. I got financial aid refunds when I was at UNC Greensboro. So I wish there was a conversation like this around for me to even be part of, for me to think about buying a piece of land. Because I remember it used to be a pretty big chunk of money, in the thousands, multiple thousands of dollars that I used to get. I used to send my tithe home when I was, you know, for my church, but I remember getting a couple of thousands of dollars when I was at UNC Greensboro for my financial aid refund. So if you're listening right now and you're in college and you get financial aid refunds, think about investment. And you know what I'll do? I'm gonna maybe next Monday Night Football, we're gonna bring somebody on, or if you guys can come back, guys, especially guys who knows about investment and some of the coolest things you can invest in. I'll try to bring up this conversation if I can remember, so that we can talk about some of the things that you can invest in with like maybe $500, $300 for something like $1,000 or $1,500, because these kids, a lot of kids get financial aid refunds, and that's in the multiple thousands of dollars, and I want to give them some ideas on what they can invest in, low level stuff that they can invest in.
Hey Harry, can I say something real quick? And I'm gonna shut up.
Go ahead.
You was talking about, you know, they get these high amounts in investing. If they can't save $500, that's where investing starts. If you're not able to save money in your savings account, then you're not going to be able to invest that type of money into bigger projects. That's you have to have the mindset and the understanding of how money works. So being able to just say, you know what, hey, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to buy these shoes. I'm going to put this money in my savings account. You got to be disciplined enough and saving is where investing starts.
So we'll talk about that. We gotta talk about it. So Prime Effect 101. I don't know what your schedule is for next Monday Night Football. You're a financial person, so if you can come on the show, if you can come on the show Monday night, we can talk about financial investing. I want to get some of y'all crazy. Like, come on now. You see what I'm saying? Just being myself, saying, "Dang, Harry's a financial expert now." I'm for my community, man. It's easy. It's easy for me to disparage my community and say how black men are never in the home, and I can always list the problems. Listen, I get more views listing issues than coming up with solutions. So it is what it is, bro. If I get 10 people to say, "Hey, man, let's talk about financial stuff," I take that L for the views. I take that L to help my community out. So Prime Effect 101, if you can come on the show, I don't know, Cool Rich, if you can come on the show because you do investments too. If you can come on the show, Tim, you do investments too. If you can come on the show, Wild Dog, if you do investments, come on the show, guys. If you guys can come on the show on next Monday night, I want to talk about low-level investments where the kids that are getting the $1,300 kids, the $400 or $500 kids, we can give them some real life examples on stuff that they can invest in instead of trying to buy chains. That's cool, guys. Y'all think y'all can help me out with that?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got a couple on top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. That's what's up. All right, see you, Buff Dynasty. Your turn, man. What are your final thoughts on today's show? And Prime Effect 101, please email me. Email me and let me know if you can make it on the show. I don't consider myself an expert, but I know a little some. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be an expert. You know, I'm an expert. I'm not an expert on football, but I'm sitting here talking about football. So it is what it is. Let's give these kids something to look forward to, man. For real. All right, so go ahead. See you, Buff Dynasty. What are your final thoughts, man?
Hey, great show. I think this is the first time I caught a Monday Nighter being on the panel. But great show.
So. Yeah. Thanks, man.
To these kids that are jumping in the portal, if you're listening, most of them are part of the 95%. So I want to relate to them. Don't create a habit of running from adversity or hard work, because once football is over with and you get on a job, you may work that job 6, 7, 3, 5 years before you even get a promotion. So you're going to have to put your work in. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to be better than the people that's above you to even get a shot for that job. So don't create a habit of running and jumping and getting away from things when it's not going your way at the present time that you're looking at it. That's what I'm going to say. Just hang in there, fight through it, fight to the end, fight as much as you can. Then if it doesn't work, then if you don't, then you move on. But at the first sight of adversity, at the first sight of being on the second or 2 deep or 3 deep, don't run and jump in the portal, because the portal is a dangerous place. You get swallowed up by the portal, like TD Jake say, swallowed up. It's
Oh God! Please don't start a new show. This is the after party.
Many kids.
And then you had to say it so slow too. Tennis Channel, what are your final? Tennis Channel, what are your final thoughts?
One last thing. Prime is a very proactive type guy, so when you see these guys leaving, I assume that he pretty much know that they were leaving and he has replacements coming in for them. So don't panic, don't worry.
Oh yeah, for sure. We don't. Yeah. Go ahead, Willie. What's your final thoughts, man?
Hey guys, this has been great. This has been great. I learned so much. You guys that talk about finance, I'm not the financial whiz, man, but when I hear about a lot of things everybody's done and how to do some things better, my ears are like wide open. So I enjoyed the whole thing. You guys are awesome, man.
Make sure you come back on next Monday, because we're going to be giving you some more examples on some specific things you can invest in. But go ahead.
I look forward to it, man. I look forward to it. And and once again to the players, like I'm gonna agree with Dynasty, man. Guys, don't go anywhere. you're in the best place you can ever be in your entire life at this time. At this moment, this time, this is where you should be. And sometimes we get impatient. Sometimes we want things to happen, like right now. It's not going to happen right now. So forget that. It ain't like one of those things where, if it's not happening for me now, well, maybe I should move on. Maybe you should wait and see what God has for you. But this is not a you thing, man. This is a God thing. So if you're there and you're having challenges with anything, sometimes you just gotta wait, man. Just wait it out and see. And wait till you hear something, because right now you listen. A lot of the guys are listening to the wrong voices, and like Dynasty was saying, man, they're jumping out, they're running, and you get caught in that portal unless they're giving you a big bag and they promise you a starting position. Then I say, well, maybe I would probably consider that, because that's what a lot of the guys are after now. So, but other than that, great show. Once again, Harry, great show, man. You the man. Even with the hat turned sideways and your hip hop ways, you look good, brother.
I turn my hat the sideway because I'm still a Brooklyn hip hop lover. And then I want the young people to understand that I align with them and I'm for them. But my final thing is going to be this. I hear a lot of y'all saying, "Hey, don't jump. That may be bad advice for somebody. So I got to be very careful when we say don't jump, because sometimes you may have to jump. Sometimes you have to understand that you have to go for self. But I want to make this disclaimer: the advice, the financial information that we give here on this show, this is a disclaimer. It is not financial advice. It is in your best interest to seek a financial advisor. We're just giving opinions based on our own experiences, and these are not financial advice. So this is just for entertainment purposes. This is not financial advice. This is just information that we're giving based on our own personal experience. You should take it as just entertainment, and that's all that is, because this is not financial advice. All right, that's the disclaimer. So next Monday, when we do have our conversation, we will be doing it in the same light and the same spirit. Is not financial advice. It's just giving people ideas on what they can do. So it's all for entertainment purposes, not financial advice. You should seek financial advice from a financial advice person or somebody who are licensed financial people. We are not licensed. We're just giving opinions for entertainment. But I also want to, but what I want to say for my final thought on today's show is, young men jump if you have had the responsible conversation with your parents, your guardian, or whoever, and you feel like this is the best decision that you need to make for your benefit, for you personally. Because if you know that you're not going to get playing time, if you sat down with Coach Prime or your linebackers coach or your O-line coach and you say, "Hey man, tell me the truth. Am I cut out for this?" And you're not cut out for that, and you still want to play, you feel like you have a better opportunity, and that answer helps you out, then yeah, you should go try to go see somewhere where you can play. You should do that. That's the responsible thing to do. If you don't go for yourself, then if you're not looking out for number one, then who are you really looking out for? We're Coach Prime guys. We're sitting here, we're Coach Prime guys. We don't want to see nobody go. But at the end of the day, you're not a Coach Prime person. You're your own person. You got to look out for number one, because what happens at the end when Coach Prime is not there? When you graduated and you feel like you missed the boat because you took my advice. Coach Prime is not living in your body. Coach Prime, I'm not living in your body. You know what's up. So I would say evaluate the situation. Make sure you're asking the right questions. Don't jump off of emotional reasons. Jump because you know that you have all the answers. You've crossed all the T's and you've dotted all of the I's, and everything points to you jumping. And that at that moment, and when you made that decision and you know that jumping is the best thing for you, please jump, because at the end of the day, only you will be able to answer the questions in the dark. Only you will be able to answer those questions in the mirror. Only you will be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I made the wrong decision or I made the right decision. And at that point, ain't nobody there with you. It's only you. That's what I would say. That's the responsible thing to do. And that I'm going to leave it right there, guys. I want to thank my panel, Wild Dog. I want to thank Tim Smith, See You Buff Dynasty. The Tennis Channel, Willie, you guys always hold me down when nobody else wants to come on the show. You guys are always holding me down. And I say I appreciate you always. All right, guys. It is Monday night, and it is 10:30 p.m. We do have the after party, but not tonight because Monday nights are a little hard because it's like a weekday or whatever. Fridays are easier. We can go all day, but not at night when I got people who got to go to sleep and stuff like that. In the studio is right next door. All right, guys. So, all hearts and minds are clear. That's a question they used to ask in church. Are all hearts and minds clear? Wild Dog.
Oh, I'm traveling light, brother. I'm good. Traveling light.
All right. Tim Smith, are all hearts, minds clear?
Yes. Everyone have a blessed night.
Prom Effect 101. What you mean? You got beef? What you got beef for? I ain't giving you no time right now. You about to make people go to sleep. See You Buff Dynasty. Your mind, all hearts and minds are clear.
10-4.
All right, and Willie, all your hearts and minds are clear.
All is well, Harry.
All right, guys, y'all have a great night, and may God bless us all. Okay, and all the transfers. I hope they're making the right decision. Good night. God bless.
Good night.